Hello, folks. Welcome to Scratch the Surface. My name's EJ Scott. Today, my guest is Chris Witaske. Chris Witaske. I think I'm pretty good with the last name. I think I got it. Before I get into what we talked about, a couple quick plugs. Follow me on Twitter at EJ Scott. The podcast at EJ Podcast. I have a website, ejscott.com. I'm raising money for charity, lots of different great charities. Go to crowdrise.com /7on7, the number 7 on the number 7. There's about a dozen or so charities I've picked out that affect everybody. And if you give a little bit, that'd be great. And tell your friends about it. I'm trying to raise $1 million, $500,000 in the next however long it takes, I guess. But so do what you can, give what you can. Thank you so much. And if you did not know, I have an eye disease called choroideremia, and I'm losing my eyesight. I'm going blind. And I did a bunch of marathons in 2012. I did 12 full marathons in 12 states in 12 months. And a documentary was made about it called Running Blind. And you can find it on iTunes, and you can find it on Google Play and Amazon, all digital copies. So for just a couple bucks, you could either rent it or buy it, and I think it's a good investment of those $2 or $3, and 30 minutes of watching it. It's edited and directed by Ryan Suffren, and it's really well done. So go check it out if you can. Okie doke. So. Speaking of which, I talked to Chris. This one's interesting. It's a long one, mostly because Chris asks me a lot of questions too. So I talk a lot about myself, but I try to always veer it back to him. But Chris has a talk show, so he's used to interviewing people. So I think that's where that happened. But we talk a lot, and I've known Chris for a while. He's a good dude. I don't know him super well, so this was very eye-opening for me. He talks about his alcoholism and how he is now sober for 2 years, and we got really into that. We talk about comedy. We talk about he's on a show called Love on Netflix, produced by Judd Apatow, starring Paul Rust and Gillian Anderson. It's a great show. Go check it out. Season 2 is coming up. We talk about that, and we talk about Paul Rust. I have a story, and I'll save it for the interview. You guys listen. But there's a Paul Rust story I have from a long time ago, from a UCB theater. It's a disgusting story, and Chris and Paul go way back to college years, and Chris has a couple stories about him as well. So there's a lot of funny stuff in this podcast, as well as some in-depth conversation. So I hope you'll enjoy it. And plus, we talk about his almost getting on Saturday Night Live and the audition process, the many auditions he had to do and endure to almost get on Saturday Night Live, and what that was like. And enjoy my conversation with the great Chris Witaske. All right. Hi, Chris.
Good morning, EJ.
A mouthful of banana
Right
there.
as I bite into over there.
It's called comedy timing, right? That's what it's all about.
You know what I'm going to do with this banana peel?
You're going to slip on it,
That's
or
right.
make me slip on it. A twofer, possibly. That's classic stuff right there. It's been a while since I've seen you.
It has been. I remember the last time I saw you was at Largo after the Judd Apatow stand-up show.
That's right.
That I think went for, was it 7 hours?
They're always really long.
Oh,
Are you going tonight? There's one tonight.
Is there one tonight?
Yeah.
Who's there tonight?
Weird Al Yankovic.
Whoa.
It's a benefit show. $100 tickets.
Holy shit. Are you going?
Uh-huh.
You paid the 100?
Mm-hmm.
Good for you.
Thank you.
You know, so now I'm on a Judd Apatow show.
I know you are.
On Netflix.
And I just binged it.
So, oh, you did?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, so I think that I might be able to like get comp tickets. But if it's a benefit thing, then I probably wouldn't, you know, be able to. Or whatever.
Well, if it's sold out, which usually it is.
Okay. Yeah.
Even if you get any space at all, even if you have to pay, it's like you're lucky.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
Gotcha. So
although, what you went last time? Did you were you in the audience or were you backstage or whatever?
I was in the audience, but then I saw Judd's assistant. And we paid for tickets, and then I saw Judd's assistant, and he goes, "You never have to pay for tickets; just email me." But I'm still really nervous about that. Kind of shit,
Yeah.
You know, like I don't want to be the guy who's like trying to get too many perks. You know?
Sure. Well, give me his information. I'll take.
I will.
I'm happy to take the perks. How'd you like doing that show, Love? Like I said, I just binged Love.
Just like in the last week.
Oh yeah. Just a couple of days ago, and I watched it in like maybe a day or something. And I had started watching it, last year, and I watched a few episodes and enjoyed it. But there's so much, it just gets away from. If you're not binging it, you'll lose it.
They made it with binging in mind.
Yeah, Netflix is doing that. And the same thing. My girlfriend's on a Netflix show.
Yeah,
and the same thing. They just want you. They want you to binge it.
It's kind of weird because you work really hard on this thing, and then it just all comes out in one day, Yeah. And then you post to your friends, check out this show, but it's like one day. Like my fiance Katie's on a show that comes out weekly, and so every week teachers, so every week they can be like, check new show tonight, check it out.
Yep. There's more promotion over a longer time. So I think there's positive and negatives to both sides. I think because. So there's that aspect of it where you can promote it for 3 months or 6 months or whatever, but then again, if you do like the network type of stuff in 2 weeks, if it's not doing well, you're canceled before you can't even air all the shows that are filmed. But this way, people kind of go, all right, I'll watch another one right now.
Yeah, right now. Yeah,
right this second.
You can finish it in
a day.
Yeah,
which often happens.
Yeah.
What do you binge? What do you binge? What are you binging?
So, I think I have started every show and gotten like 4 episodes in.
Right.
And then for whatever reason
because you didn't have the rest of the day, you had something else to do.
Yeah, I had something else to do. And then the next night I'm like, I want to start this other thing.
Right.
And so I just I never see it the whole way through. What did I see the whole way through? I saw Breaking Bad the whole way through.
Oh, greatest.
The best. But I mean, that might be it.
Did you binge that one?
I binged it.
Okay. Yeah. You watch it weekly?
No,
hey, puppy, you be good. We're doing an interview. But
I'm
just gonna smell your crotch for
please
a few minutes.
I'm used to it.
It's my dog. So what else you watch?
So what else did I watch? So last night I watched a documentary about rats.
Oh yeah! I started that one.
Have you seen that?
I had to turn it off. I was so freaked out by it. It's a Morgan Spurlock documentary on Netflix,
and it's actually well done. Better than a lot of those kind of documentaries that you see.
I thought I foolishly, stupidly pressed play, thinking, maybe it'll be like a nice version of here's what people don't know about rats, and they're helpful for the environment or something weird like that. Nope. It's just they're terrifying and horrible, and the diseases, and they'll kill you,
and their teeth are razor sharp, and they're fucking everywhere.
Oh, I had to turn it off.
Oh my god, yeah. So I didn't get all the way through, but it is halfway through. They show in some cultures, they show. I forget where it is, Cambodia, I think. They eat rats, and so they show this woman slaughtering these rats with a butcher knife and just chopping their heads off in their tail. Oh my god, brutal.
Would you eat a rat?
I don't think I would. I asked Katie last night, would you eat a rat? And I don't think I would. It was so gross watching this.
What if it's at a nice restaurant? Comes with couscous or something.
Okay, then I would.
You know what I mean? Made by Mario Batali.
Well, that's why I always watch the Anthony Bourdain, and he's such a foodie and an adventurous eater, and I'm always like, I wish I could be more like that because it looks so exciting.
Yeah.
But I don't know, once that shit's in front of me, if I could actually eat it.
Are you a picky eater?
No, but I know what I like, and I kind of stick to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you like?
Burritos.
And that's it. What about a little rat in the burrito?
Sure, what the hell? I'll eat a rat burrito.
He'll have that at Chipotle next. Is that true? Is that your main thing, burritos?
That's, I mean, like...
Is that your...
Yeah, that's probably my, like, number one.
Achilles
and my
heel?
fiance hates Mexican food, so it's always like a, yeah.
This marriage is going to last.
It's not going to last.
Sorry to say.
What do you eat?
Well, everything. That's why I've put on weight. But
Me too.
Yeah. So now I'm working on losing weight. I'm literally having one meal a day now, and then shakes.
Protein shakes.
Protein shakes. Look at that. Can you see? Can you see
Holy
the bucket?
Shit,
I
that
have
thing
a
is
bucket.
like that's like a 10-gallon drum.
Yeah, it's 5 pounds of protein powder.
So are you following a thing?
I have a personal trainer who's also a friend.
Okay.
And he's in ridiculous shape. And he's like, get some, do this, do that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it.
See, that's what I need is just somebody to tell me what the fuck to do and just follow it.
I'll tell you what he tells me to do. And you do it.
I will pay you.
Well, I mean, he told me, I was like, I'm having trouble losing weight. He's like, you got to eat less. Just replace a meal or two with protein shakes.
Really?
Yeah. And he goes, take the protein powder, take a scoop, put it in the thing, put some almond milk in there, a few berries, nothing crazy.
Blender?
Some spinach. I have a Ninja blender over there and blend it up. And I have that 3 times a day.
So you're replacing
2 meals.
2 meals. You're only eating
shakes.
1 meal?
1 meal.
Dinner
Right now.
Or breakfast?
I try to do it around lunchtime because then it burns up during the day.
Wow.
And I've lost like 6 pounds.
You have?
In the last 5 days or something.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So I a couple of weeks ago, so I was reading, I'm always reading like the new fad shit. And do you know what Jimmy Kimmel does?
Yes.
5-2?
Yep. He does 500 calories 2 times a week.
Monday and Thursday.
But then, see, here's the thing, and I've heard him talk about this. And then he goes, and then the other days I eat whatever I want. And I go, okay, I can't do that. Because those other 5 days I will put back.
Right?
Because I'm sure I eat more than Jimmy Kimmel. I've seen him at his heaviest, and I was way heavier.
You were?
Oh, yeah.
You're a tall guy, 6'3"?
6'3", thanks. Yeah.
You're welcome.
So
So what were you at your heaviest, if you don't mind?
270.
Wow, okay.
Which is right now about 25 pounds more than I am now.
Okay. I'm 6'1", and right now I'm at 215.
215?
Yeah. But I've been at like 190 before. And
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good weight.
So how the hell do I get back there?
Just shakes.
So,
Just cut out food entirely.
so this fucking Jimmy Kimmel thing. So I read about it, and I was like, oh, for some reason on this particular day, it made sense to me. I'm like, this is great.
Right.
All I got to do is Monday and Thursday, just eat, starve yourself and eat
500
calories.
Right.
Which that shit adds up so quick. So
yeah.
I tried it. I started on a Monday, and I go, I'm going to do this. 5-2. 5 days eating whatever you want. 2 days.
Burritos.
And burritos.
5 days of burritos.
And I think I made it to 3 p.m. I think I made it to 3 p.m.
The first day.
First day. And then I was literally like, fuck this. I went to like Pinocchio's Italian restaurant in Burbank and ate like lasagna.
Perfect. Nailed it.
How do you do it?
I'll say this though. I'm working out 5 days a week.
Okay. With this guy?
With this guy.
Okay.
And he's the shakes are surprisingly filling. And when they're not, I eat like other fruits or vegetables or something like that.
Okay.
And
that doesn't count towards. Is that like Weight Watchers where it doesn't count as points if it's fruits or vegetables? Kind of thing.
I did Weight Watchers for 2 years.
You did?
Yeah. So I don't count it. So like even if my trainer goes, well, don't have too many don't have too many bananas. I'm like, fuck you. I'm gonna have all the bananas I want.
What's that gonna hurt?
And then he corrects me. So he's like, yeah, your problem's not bananas. Which it isn't. My problem's not bananas. My problem's lasagna.
Yes.
And Chipotle up the street.
Yes.
And Five Guys up the street. All that shit.
All that shit.
Because I consider myself a food addict.
I think I could probably consider myself that too. But you're like, do you like go to meetings?
No, like OA and stuff, like leaders and all. No, but I've been recommended to do that. Like my therapist said maybe I should do that, and I'm like, oh man, more therapy. Like I should go to therapy. I was going all this. I was doing Weight Watchers.
So why'd you quit that?
Weight Watchers?
Yeah,
because
2 years.
I was paying $40-$50 a month.
Yeah,
and then I was not getting to where I wanted. I kind of learned everything I wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And then in the meetings, I was just on my phone. Eventually, I was going to meetings just like on my phone the whole time. And I was like, I've heard all this before.
Right.
I like the meetings, and I think they're good, but I was like, all right, I plateaued. And now...
God. But do you, like, still take what you learned there? And
yes.
You do? Okay.
Because I know, like, when I look at something, I'm going, that's a bunch of points. That's a lot of points. But when I was following it, rigidly,
right.
is that the right? I was losing weight. I was getting results for sure. I was getting results.
Okay.
And I was having my my cheat day because I had the points to do it, and like my 40 or whatever points I had to cheat with was one meal at Chipotle.
Jesus.
And that was
for the week.
For the week.
Wow.
So usually it was like a Sunday. Usually after the meeting, I would go. It'd be my cheat day. After the meeting, I'd go.
Right after you heard all these people talking and it's inspiration.
Yep. I'd go to Five Guys or I'd go to Chipotle or something. It'd be like 11 a.m. I'm like, this is it.
So, but it sounds like you get bored with things. Like, is that what it is? You did this for 2 years and then you got bored.
I get bored.
And so you need to constantly be doing something new.
Yes.
Yes.
That's why improv is so great for me.
Right.
Because it's always new.
Right.
No matter what. Sometimes I look at people doing plays and I go, they do this 8 times a week.
I know, right?
Oh my God. You get bored like saying the same shit.
Well, actually, that was a thing. Something that I experienced at Second City was, you write the show and that's fun, but then all of a sudden you're just doing the show over and over. I mean, you have that improv third act to look forward to, but
sure.
But for a year we did the same show over and over.
Yeah, and you did. So we know each other from Chicago,
right?
And you did ETC.
Yes.
Did you get the main stage?
Never.
Okay.
No.
That's like the pinnacle of Chicago improv sketch is main stage Second City.
That's right.
And once you hit that, you've made it.
You've made it. That's the top of the mountain.
That's the top of the mountain.
Yes.
You planted your flag.
Yes.
Is there any regrets that you didn't get the main stage?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. I had the time of my life doing the ETC stage, and it was the perfect amount of time. And I was getting sick of it towards the end. And ready to get the fuck out of there.
Why were you getting sick of it?
For what I said, doing the same show over and over. And, I was an alcoholic.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Quit sober now 2 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
There's
Thank you very much.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
There's alcoholism in my family.
Okay.
It's been pretty heavy the last year or so, or two. So I'm very familiar with this stuff.
Yes.
So I congratulate you. 2 years, that's hard.
Thank you.
And you should be proud of yourself.
Thank you very much.
You know what? You put on 5 pounds, fuck it, right? Have a burrito.
Have a fucking burrito. Oh, there's no doubt about it that I like. I find myself at Baskin Robbins a lot. Like, like at 10 p.m. And it's like, what am I doing? And I think it's like, I'm replacing this with sugar probably.
Mm-hmm. And so that's the hard part. An addict has to replace his addiction with
a
healthy addiction.
Right. So what is that? So the gym,
it could
I
be
guess.
Painting, a hobby.
Painting, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it really. Like Robert Downey Jr., he paints like crazy.
Does he really?
Yeah. Jim Carrey paints like crazy.
I was talking to...
I don't know if Jim's an addict, but he seems like he's that personality.
Oh, for sure,
yeah.
I was talking to Bob Odenkirk not too long ago, and he said the hardest thing about being an actor is what to do in between jobs. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, what the fuck should I do? And he said, take up woodworking.
Yeah.
He said, a lot of people do that.
A lot of people do that in
Hollywood?
I
think he was talking about maybe Nick Offerman does that or whatever.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting.
But yeah, I mean, I think that you do have to have some kind of a hobby. But like, what am I going to do? Get up? I can't put a fucking wood shop in my apartment.
I'm sure your fiance would love that.
Yeah.
Well, if you do that, I'll order something from you.
Would you think?
A chair?
Thank you.
A chair or something?
Get back to me in about 10 years and maybe I'll.
Well, my girlfriend, she doesn't have addictive problems, but she does have obsessive problems. So she's an actress, and when she's not working, she's like doesn't know what to do with herself.
Right.
So she's discovered new hobbies where she's like most recently last couple of years Dungeons and Dragons. So she's obsessed with it.
Really? And it just it like keeps her busy and
keeps her busy because she's become a dungeon master. So she creates stories, and she's even started writing a novel.
This is healthy.
Yeah, and she took up painting. She binged Bob Ross on Netflix. It was inspired. Bought Bob Ross stuff.
Wow.
Did three or four beautiful paintings.
No
Never painted
shit.
before. Did 3 or 4 beautiful paintings.
See, that's healthy. This is healthy.
It keeps her, it's. I'm glad she does that. I'm glad she doesn't have, what I have, because it would be a spiral down.
Do you spiral?
Oh, I can. Yeah.
Oh, me too.
I stopped running a couple months ago, and I put on 20 pounds. I'm like, fuck.
And you've done how many marathons?
Altogether?
Yeah.
15 fulls and 8 halves. And that's another, addiction, right? So,
right.
I did 12 in 1 year.
How many continents?
I did all 7 continents this past year. But again, another type of, why don't I just do 1 continent? Well, no, I want to do all 7
really?
In 1 year,
Blindfolded.
Mostly, yeah. Most of them.
See, but this,
you should do that.
Yeah, I should do that, right?
By the way, I'm suffering for it now. My knees are shot.
Really?
Are you licking his crotch?
But see, I'm so, I remember when you were doing that, and I remember seeing it on social media and stuff, and being thinking to myself, holy shit, EJ is fucking really doing this. Inspiring. But you know what's even more inspiring? Right now, you sitting here telling me that you haven't run in a while, and now you're getting fat.
Yeah.
So you're normal.
I'm a normal person.
You're a normal person.
I'm not an athlete. I never said I was an athlete.
Yeah, but EJ, when people look at this, this guy is running marathons on every continent, blindfolded.
Right.
That's superhero stuff.
Right. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Nope. I'm just a stupid, addictive person.
But you're just like me down the street at Chipotle.
Oh yeah.
Add in the sour cream.
Oh yeah.
And the cheese,
which I would think would maybe be more inspiring to know that somebody like me, who was 270 pounds and lost 70 pounds while living in Chicago.
Yes. Wow. That's hard.
Yes. And that's what got me running right after that. Was I want to keep this off, and I want to do stuff for charity, so I'll combine the two. And but it's fucking, I struggle all the time. I'm up and down all the time.
Unbelievable.
It's hard as fuck.
You're human. Just like,
I hate it.
Just like me.
I don't want to be human. I want to be
the human condition, man.
I want to be a Superman.
So, but when you were you happier when you were doing that? When you were actively?
I was very proud of myself.
Yeah.
It for me, sometimes I get asked about, because for those that don't know, I'm going blind.
Right.
People that have what I have sometimes ask me, "Hey, I have what you have. How do I'm depressed about it. How do I?" Strangers will write to me and stuff, and I'm like, oh God. Well, therapy. That's what I do. I've been going to therapy for 7-8 years.
Me too. I love it.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
Sometimes I'm like, sometimes I walk out going, I'm so mad because I just brought up all this shit, and now I have to leave. I have another 4 hours of shit I could rant about. But it's good. It's good. And then being proactive. So raising awareness, raising money, getting the word out, that really helps me also, doing all that stuff. I've raised over $500,000. You see my house right now.
Yeah.
It's a train wreck. There's shit all over the place that I'm selling on eBay because I'm just I'm purging, getting rid of stuff, but also I'm raising money for charity. So my goal is to get to $1 million.
You're inspiring.
I know it. I know. So put down that fucking burrito. Stop eating Mondays and Thursdays.
Yeah, right. 5-2.
5-2.
Talking about purging real quick. We're going off on a lot of tangents here.
That's fine.
Talking about purging, just watched the documentary on Netflix called The Minimalists.
I started watching that. Oh, funny.
What do you think?
I had to stop watching. It was stressing me out so bad.
I know, right? You start thinking
so
about yourself.
Stressed out.
You start thinking about yourself, right?
Well, what's funny is I told this to my girlfriend. I stopped it and I added it to my queue of 300 movies that I'll never watch.
Right?
And I'm like, well, but that's another part. The addiction part of me accumulates stuff.
Yeah.
I don't consider myself a hoarder.
Okay.
That label, but I'm a collector. I like stuff.
Yes.
But I'm not super afraid of getting rid of things. Also, I'm getting rid of tons of stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't giving it away necessarily. Sometimes I will. I'll leave it on the corner and it'll just disappear. But usually I'm like, but I think I could get something from it,
right,
for charity. Like that sounds reasonable. Like even when I lost the weight, I did it for charity. I raised $14,000, losing 70 pounds.
Amazing.
For charity. Again, inspiring. But but what'd you think of that? Do you like stuff?
I do like stuff, and I have a lot of stuff. And I mean, not this much stuff, but I have stuff. But I don't have a house. I have a small apartment.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, well, I only have this much stuff because I'm able to have room for
the stuff. And that's exactly. And they talk about this in that movie. You have the rooms, and so you got to fill it with something, and so you accumulate stuff to fill it or whatever. And then I think basically they say you become a prisoner to your own stuff. You know?
Right.
But isn't that weird how I finished that movie and I was like, I'm going to purge. And I went in my closet and I looked at these shirts, these button-down shirts that I haven't worn in some 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah.
And I pull it out of the closet and I look at it and I go, well, I haven't worn this in 5 years. I should get rid of it, right?
Yeah.
And then I go, but what if I have an audition sometime and I need a shirt like this that looks kind of like a plaid cowboy shirt?
Right.
I better hold on to it just in case. That could be the all about?
Big audition. That's a big audition.
You're like, oh well, you never know. I might need it for.
Well, if it helps any, when I was auditioning, if I needed something, I would go and buy it and then return it after the audition.
See, that's smart. Yeah, that's smart.
And I don't need it.
That's smart. But that thing in your brain where you're able to convince yourself, like, but what if I need it someday?
I know. I get that too.
What is that shit?
I don't know.
You can attach to it.
But here's what I do with that. So if I look at it, I go, man, I don't know. Let me just hold on to it a little longer. And if I come back to it like a year later, I go, I didn't use it this year. Forget it. It's gone.
So you have to just wait. So your program is look at it, think about throwing it away, then wait a year, and then
fast.
throw it away.
It goes fast.
All right.
You'll see. You'll see next year. You'll look at that shirt again. You'll go like, he's fucking right. I didn't have that audition.
I never had a cowboy audition.
That's not coming. I'm not that type.
Oh fuck, man! But this movie at the end of it, I don't know how far you got in it, but these guys like really started making a lot of sense. But then at one point, this guy, who's like the head guy in the movie, he meets somebody for the first time, and this guy goes to give him a handshake, and the guy goes, I'm
a hugger.
I'm a hugger.
Yeah, that was stressing me out.
And I was like, oh shit! Like I liked this guy, but now I don't
he does
like
that through the whole
him.
movie.
He does that the whole fucking movie, yeah. But the first time I saw it, I was like, oh no, he's one of these guys.
And then he has to announce it to everybody. By the way, like they're doing a panel. By the way, everybody, we're huggers.
I know.
So get ready to have your space invaded.
I want to like puke. Like
that was making me nervous too.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't mind, hugging. I'll hug you.
Sure.
But
you don't have to announce it.
You don't have to announce it, and you don't have to demand that I hug you.
Right.
Just because that my girlfriend's like that makes my girlfriend very uncomfortable. She's like, well, just because you're a hugger doesn't mean that I'm
sure, right.
I'm into that.
Assume that the other person is.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, you want to go outside? He's a little whiner. Yeah, we were at a party one time, and this guy's like, I'm a hugger. I was like, okay. So I didn't care. And then we were talking about it afterwards after he walked away, and they're like, well, what if I'm not a hugger? And I go, too late. You already hugged him. It's happened.
It's happened. It's too late. He got what
he comes in. It's already done.
It's done.
As he's saying hugger, he's hugging you.
Right.
It's over. You probably have him arrested in this day and age.
He got what he wants.
He got what he wanted.
And now he's going to go home and jerk off thinking about it.
And I wonder what that does for the hugger. Where
I'll tell you what it does. It creates maybe in their minds, I think it creates like I'm connecting to other human beings. But to me, it also creates this like sense of superiority or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm better than you. I'm not just going to handshake like everybody else. I'm going to hug because I'm superior.
I'm not afraid.
Right.
Not afraid.
Fuck that shit.
You know what? Next time somebody says that, punch them in the face.
Punch them.
I'm a hitter.
So let me ask you this. Are you on any kind of antidepressants?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Okay.
You?
No, but I as of January 1st, I finally get the good SAG insurance.
Okay,
I finally
congratulations.
made it.
I never got there.
To plan one.
Congratulations.
I've been climbing up this mountain for years, and
Yeah.
I finally made it. I made enough money last year which isn't that much,
Yeah.
to qualify.
What is it now? 10,000? 15?
Maybe like 20 or something.
20,000,
Like that.
okay.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
quote me on that.
All right.
Yeah.
It's 20,000.
But I just barely made it. Barely made it. And so because of this, I'm currently looking for a new therapist. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to my first session with a new lady who's 2 blocks down the street. Love it. Don't have to drive. Can walk.
Love it.
But I was on the phone with my health provider and was kind of talking about some stuff that I have. You know, I get down sometimes, and you know, I think like low-level depression. And this woman on the phone said, "Have you ever taken any drugs for this?"
Right.
And I said, "No, never." And she said, "Well, why don't we set up an appointment at a psychiatrist so you can get checked out and see if that might help?"
Mm-hmm.
And so I made an appointment, and it's in 2 weeks.
Okay. How do you feel about that?
Weird.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what to think.
Do you think you need medication?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I mean,
do you think like harming yourself, stuff like that?
never.
Okay.
No.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good sign.
Yeah. No, never that kind of stuff. I think just like a low level, just a little simmering under the surface depression.
Okay. That sounds like less than what I have, even.
Yeah.
You know, like or I have had in the past. But I think, you know, you listen to doctors and stuff, and they say, if you exercise and if you eat, like that stuff affects how you feel.
Right.
Which I totally believe. That.
Yes.
And since you're sober now,
Yes.
that's do you feel good being sober?
I do, but here's the thing. So 2 years sober, and I feel better than I've ever felt health-wise.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing, and I don't go to AA. I read a book to help quit called the Easy Way to Quit Drinking.
For dummies?
Yeah, for dummies. Yeah. It's also Windows 95 / Windows 95 for dummies.
Right. Uh-huh.
And it's actually the same book I read to quit smoking because I used to smoke.
I used to smoke too.
Did you?
15 years.
How'd you quit?
Cold turkey. I quit like 1,000 times
Yeah.
with, you know, well, if a friend, I won't buy any, but if somebody gives me one, I'll smoke. Or
Still.
if I'm drinking, I haven't smoked in 11
gotcha.
years.
Gotcha.
But that's how many times I quit.
Yeah,
Then
I see.
the last time I'm like, well, this isn't working. I'm just going to not have excuses for it and stop altogether. And that's what I did.
Good for you.
Thank you. It's hard sometimes, but
Yeah.
But now I'm disgusted by it.
Oh, me too. Me too. Isn't that weird?
Oh, it's so gross.
I know.
I was watching Love.
Yeah, a lot of smoking in there.
Gillian Jacobs smokes.
know.
I'm like, she's so hot. I could not go near her if she's smoking a cigarette.
Right?
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I know. I think it like adds to that character, but I know it's like when I see it now,
She's
or
an addict
smell
too,
it,
right? In the show.
She is exactly. But when I smell it or walk past it, it's like repulsive to me now.
Yeah, me too.
But for however many 8 years, I was sucking those things down like it. Yeah.
I'm like, I used to smell like that.
Oh my God!
For
Remember
15
when the
years.
bars in Chicago in the Old Town Ale House?
Oh, yeah,
it was just a
old.
cloud.
Yeah. I didn't want to move to Chicago. Once I heard they banned all that stuff, I said, okay, I'll move. I'll move to Chicago.
Oh,
I didn't want to.
gross.
I didn't want to go to IO, and people are smoking cigarettes in IO.
I remember that.
That's gross.
Why did we live like that for so long?
Because we're animals.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
anyway,
they still do that in certain parts of the country.
I know. Yeah, different.
If you're driving cross country, you go in for a bite to eat somewhere, it's filled with smoke.
God,
It's fucking crazy.
isn't that crazy?
I really think it's crazy.
And now that we know what it's like to not, I mean, you used to be able to smoke on airplanes.
Yeah,
think about
I was
that.
watching Die Hard. I was watching the first Die Hard. He's smoking in the airport. I'm like, what?
So
What a
crazy.
bunch of assholes.
So crazy. So anyway, yeah. So it's quit smoking, reading The Easy Way to Quit Smoking, quit drinking. But, so 2 years sober, and I feel great. Like clear-headed and healthy, and, you know, it was getting bad for a while. I was like binge drinking a lot, you know what I mean?
Do you know why?
I think because I started, it was always like kind of glorified my whole life. And I started pretty young at 14, 15.
Yeah, 15. Yeah.
Yeah, and then drank all through high school, and then drank hard all through college, and then moved to Wrigleyville.
Yeah.
And drank there
It just smells of beer
everywhere. Yeah.
all the time.
All the time.
Even if no one's there, you just get off the bus,
Right?
smells like beer.
So it was just like this long time in my life.
Is it in your family too?
Yeah.
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 I think it is.
Yeah. But so would your family, how'd they react when you got sober?
Little weird, little
Yeah.
threatened, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I get that.
Uh-huh.
Because they're like, wait a second.
This
You're an alcoholic. What does that make me?
Right. That's the thing, man. The people, so many people were really supportive, and then some people weren't supportive, and the people who weren't are the ones who I think
The worst.
are the worst.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, like,
So they feel threatened by it.
of course. Well, I was always worried about my brother. He's an alcoholic, and I would mention this to people, and then they'd say, but EJ, you drink a lot in your 20s and college and stuff, and I go, why am I getting this shit? I'm like, wait a second. For one, I never drank like he drank ever.
Uh-huh.
I don't think anybody ever went to somebody else and said, I think EJ might have a drinking problem.
Yeah.
Even if I at my worst drinking days, but it's the same thing. I think like people get threatened. They're like, well, why are you saying that? And then turns out he is an alcoholic. He went to rehab twice.
Yeah.
Sober living and AA and all that stuff. He's still struggling with it. So
But good for him for doing something.
he's trying.
Yeah.
He's trying. It's a rough road.
It is a rough road. Yeah. There's highs and lows for sure.
Yeah. And he's on medication too.
He is, okay.
Yeah.
And the other thing, people will be like, if we go to the bar together, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're going to hang out and talk the same way we do. I'm just going to have soda water.
Yeah. How are you with that stuff?
Good.
Do you get uncomfortable? Sometimes you get like,
other people get uncomfortable. I don't get uncomfortable at all.
See, that's impressive. Because even when I was in Chicago and I was losing weight,
yeah,
I found I was having a hard time being outside of my apartment.
Oh, really?
If I went to I.O., because I was so used to just grabbing a drink after the show or having one of those pretzels or whatever, or a bag of chips or something, I'm like, well, that's my norm, and I don't want to do that. I'm losing weight, and I'm doing good, and so I would have to leave. And then, like, I would go, somebody had a birthday party at a bar or something, I went, and somebody showed up with, like, a bunch of cupcakes and hot dogs, and I was like, gotta go.
And you would just leave?
I'd just leave.
Wow. Good for
because
you.
I was crawling out of my skin.
Yep, I know that feeling.
It was so hard.
It's easy for me now. It wasn't always. I think I had to experience every different social setting once to get over the hump of that. Like, I had to go to a wedding and not drink. I had to go camping and not drink.
Because you have to. I was even thinking about this the other day of because addicts are habitual. So they go to a place and they get the same thing. It's ritual.
Yep.
And so you have to like kind of figure out, okay, when I go here, I do the same thing with food. So when I go to this place, I always get this, and this. Okay, now I go to this place. What do I get? I gotta have like a new habit.
Change your whole.
You gotta change it.
Thought process. Yeah.
It's fucking annoying.
Well, so with the drinking, the book that I read, it talks about all of this shit.
Yeah.
And so that really helped me a lot.
That's good. Say it again. What's the name?
The Easy Way to Quit Drinking.
Easy Way
by Alan Carr.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great, and it kind of just changes the way you think about it. I think in the book it's called like reverse brainwashing, which sounds like a little culty or something, but it's not. It's great. Yeah. Anyway, going back to feeling great sober, but I think like I used to obviously use it as a self-medicating kind of thing.
Sure,
you know,
of course.
And just numbing the feelings, numbing any kind of pain, numbing any kind of,
even when you're happy about something.
Exactly.
Drink.
Yeah. At Second City, it was, we had a great show. Let's go celebrate.
Yep.
Oh, we had a shitty show. Let's go fucking drink it away.
Yeah. It's the same thing.
It is the same thing.
You do the exact same thing for both
Right.
both emotions.
Hey, great, that was fun. Shot of Jameson.
Yeah.
Oh, that was awful. Shot of Jameson.
Yeah. It's the same thing with like food too. I do the same thing. If I'm like, time to celebrate food, or that didn't go well.
I'll eat it away.
I'll eat it away.
So now that I don't have that, I think that what's happening in my life right now is 33 years old, and these feelings that I've had my whole life, I now have to deal with.
Yeah. How you doing with that?
Well, therapy.
Yeah.
And exercise, going to the gym.
All right, good.
But in some ways, I'm like fucking down and out, you know?
What do you mean?
I think, I've lived out here now for 3 years, and the highs and lows of living out here and the whole like starting over, it's been tough.
Yeah, that stuff's tough.
Yeah.
Well, you're engaged.
I'm engaged, yeah.
To Katie
O'Brien.
And you know her from Chicago.
We knew each other in Chicago, but weren't really friends or anything, and only started seeing each other and hanging out here.
How long ago?
And about 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then started dating.
Started dating and fell in love. Yeah.
So that's nice.
Yeah, it's great.
That's an up.
Oh my God, it's a huge up.
Right.
Huge up. Great.
And now you're engaged.
Engaged.
When's the big wedding?
I haven't set a date yet. Okay. We've only been engaged for about 4 months now, so we just got engagement photos, which was fun. Back in, she's from Omaha, so we did that over Christmas, and we're gonna actually look at a venue this weekend.
That's very exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Well, how do you propose?
Thank you. We have a dog named Murray, who's the light of my life.
He's so cute. He's really cute.
He's a golden retriever chow chow mix. He's a little poof ball, and he's super just happy all the time. And so I wanted to keep it chill. Like Katie made it very clear that she didn't want any big, flash mob or anything. Sure. So we just.
You mean like for the engagement?
Yeah, right.
Okay, like you didn't want to be on like a Howie Mandel show where everybody's flash mobbing, and at the end you're there in a white tuxedo.
Like all of a sudden, aunts and uncles are popping out. Like, hey, we flew in
to the Black Eyed Peas or something.
Because I'm happy. People doing cartwheels and shit. Yeah. Oh. She did not want that. I did not want that.
I want that.
And I think we both agreed that like we get the spotlight in other parts of our life.
Sure.
To keep this. So anyway, bought a bow tie bought a little dog bow tie.
Aww,
put it on Murray,
cute.
And it was just a normal weekday evening. And Murray ran into the living room with a bow tie, and she was like, "What's this?" And then I came out behind him all nervous, and got down on a knee in the living room, and then and then FaceTiming with the family and crying, and then we went to our favorite little Italian restaurant in Toluca Lake.
Had some burritos.
That's it. And I made the chef prepare burrito.
Some wrap burritos. What did you like? Do the one knee?
I did. I got down on the knee. I said her full name.
Oh.
I said I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Oh, I love you.
I'm crying. That's so sweet. That's so sweet.
It was very sweet.
And she wasn't expecting it.
She was kind of expecting it. I mean, she knew it was coming at some point, but
okay.
Yeah.
And so you guys have been together about 3 years.
Yep.
So you got sober while dating her.
I got sober right at the beginning of dating her. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And that was weird.
Yeah. In what way?
I mean, dating my whole life has been centered around, drinking and
sure.
And going out to dinner and getting wine. And
socializing in general.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So, that was actually, in a lot of ways, the thing that really made me fall in love with her was that when I told her that, I was really nervous about it. Like saying, hey, by the way, I'm gonna get sober. And she couldn't have taken it better and more supportive and was super cool about it. And,
That's great.
Yeah. It's obviously, I don't want to bring other people's lives into it, but her dad struggled with that and passed away. And so she definitely knows the effects of that.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So like in socializing, You have soda water or something like that. Do you go like ball
soda
games?
water, splash of cranberry juice, add a lime.
For wild animal. Well, like if you go to like Wrigley,
Yep.
you're a sports guy, right?
Big Cubs fan, yes.
Big Cubs fan. Congratulations.
Thank you very
past
much.
year.
So great.
That was pretty exciting. Did you go to the games?
Mm-hmm.
Did you go to all of them?
I went to one World Series game. I caught Bill Murray's chips that he threw out of the press box when he sang the 7th inning stretch.
Whoa!
Then landed in my lap, caught him.
Did you keep them?
Coolest experience of my life. They lost that game, but just being around Wrigley for that. And then
So
I
that was
also
an early-
went
that was
back
an
for
early
the
game.
parade. Oh my God, it was so cool.
Wow.
So cool.
What? So like when you're at a Wrigley, do you get like everybody there's fucking-
Everybody.
not only drinking but they're fucked up, right?
Like,
You should just be passing out that book to everybody in Wrigley, right?
everybody in the city of Chicago. Yeah. That was another one. I had to go to my first Cubs game sober and just experience it. Yeah.
Wow.
It is weird. I mean, how like so many things are. You really realize when you're not drinking how much stuff revolves around it.
Same thing when I quit eating. Well, when I was changing my ways, I just became attuned to every bad piece of food around. Advertising, just all the stores, all the restaurants and stuff. Like just going into like a card store, but there's candy and whatever. Just there's tons of stuff all over the place all the time. And I watched tons of documentaries, and they pointed all out too of like it wasn't like this 50 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, it was a pain in the ass to go get a Coke.
Right.
Now it's super
Now
simple.
it's. I mean, everywhere you turn.
Yeah.
Gosh, you really have to be disciplined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I didn't drink for 10 and a half months.
Okay, great.
I lost that weight. I didn't eat pizza for 8-9 months or something.
And that was Weight Watchers?
No, that was Chicago, just on my own. Doing it
Just on your own. Just
I didn't do Weight Watchers. I wasn't even exercising.
Wow.
And towards the end, the last 10 pounds I lost, I started running because I knew I was going to do a marathon, my first marathon, in 2010. I lost the weight in 2009, ran.
Started running in 2010. So I was just reading something recently that like, I mean, obviously people know this, but like they say that diet is really like 80% of losing weight.
Yep, that's what Weight Watchers says too.
20% is exercise.
It's exercise. It's true. It's true. I mean, I lost that 70 pounds through diet.
Yeah.
And just gaining trying new things. I became a fish lover. I ate salads, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, wow, this isn't so bad. I started eating vegetables. When I would go to the grocery store and I'd lay out all my stuff on the conveyor, it was all very colorful.
Yeah.
Because it was mostly from fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. And there's just such a huge difference to eating shit and everything's in boxes and bags and processed the shit and then like they're all like brown and yellow. Everything's like brownish yellowish, like Taco Bell
beige,
colors. Beige, right? And then you change that, and it's like it's all true.
Did you follow something when you did it then in 2009?
No, and I should have.
It was just like I'm just gonna buy healthy shit.
I'm just gonna buy healthy shit because I was like, well, I eat fast food every day.
Right.
I stopped doing that.
Right.
Candy, stop. Soda, stop. Pizzas, carbs I cut out, like pastas and breads, stop. Beer and alcohol, obviously, stop.
Right.
So I just stopped. Once you get all that out, there's like all that's left is fruits and vegetables and things like that.
Lean proteins.
Lean proteins, and when I would have like a turkey dog, just no bun, and with like vegetables and turkey burgers, no bun.
A lot of cooking at home then.
Oh yeah. And I started cooking a lot at home.
Wow.
Oh yeah, changed everything. But it was really good. But my social life went down the tubes.
Yeah.
Because I just did not do. I didn't go out at all. Like very rarely I would go out.
What what inspired you to finally do it? Was it? Yeah, go ahead.
My girlfriend and I were doing long distance at the time. She was in LA and I was in Chicago, and I came to visit her, and she was in an apartment, and I hadn't weighed myself in years. I had a number in my head that I thought I was. I would put that number and less on resumes.
That's what
right?
I do.
I would put like 210, 215 on resumes, and I was like 250, 260.
So you stepped on it. So it was literally a moment where you stepped on a scale.
I stepped on a scale.
At her apartment in L.A.
And it wasn't a digital one. It was one of those, whatever. Yeah,
yep.
Exactly.
Pretty accurate.
And I jumped off of it before it even stopped. I jumped off. I was like, what the fuck? This thing's broken. I jumped off of it. And I was like, oh, it was in the 260s.
Wow. Not what you were expecting.
No, I thought maybe 240.
Yeah.
I thought I was hoping 240. Wow. And literally, my girlfriend will tell you this. I just went into her living room, and I just got really depressed.
Yep.
Real bad. And I think I sat on the floor, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I am so fat. I'm so heavy. And I got really depressed. And I was already wearing double XL shirts and stuff, and that even those were getting tight.
Yeah. But it sneaks up on you is the thing. You don't realize it because it's not like all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're fat. It's like this.
No.
You don't even realize it.
The improv sketch world is not conducive to healthy living. So for 5 years out here, I spent in LA, almost every night at IO West at the bar, watching shows, doing shows, whatever.
Yep.
And then afterwards at 2 a.m. going to Denny's.
Yep.
Having some buffalo chicken wings and shit like that.
Grand Slam breakfast.
Yep.
Yep.
All that stuff.
Yeah, man.
Ordering pizzas at my apartment. I can't believe any girl went out with me. That was disgusting. I had to start online dating.
Yeah.
And even then I was like, I can't believe they're going out with me. It was the second date.
That was out here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think women out here just looking for a sane man,
I was sane enough, I guess. More or less. But like when Deborah and I were talking about my weight, that in that moment I was like, what am I gonna do? And she goes, well, she was trying to help me. She felt so bad for me. She goes, well, what if I bribed you? What if you were paid to lose weight? And I was like, maybe. But I was like, I couldn't take money for it. But maybe I could. I was already doing stuff to raise money for charity. So I was like, maybe I could ask people to give to charity, and I could do that. And I blogged about it. I blogged about all of it.
So
Once
smart.
you put yourself out there.
Right.
And ask people, I'm losing weight. I need to lose weight. I want to lose. Initially 60 pounds. I changed it to 70. And then, but people
got behind it.
Isn't
that amazing? And then you have like more motivation and
it was very
you don't
supportive.
want to let people down.
And that first week that I did it, and I went to the grocery store and I bought all new shit. I was like, oh boy, this is new. I'm like Anthony Bourdain. This is new, adventurous territory. And that first week, I weighed myself after a week, and I lost 6 pounds. And I was like, oh, man, it works. Wow. It works. Oh, my God.
Is it true that when at first it kind of falls off the weight? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because you're shocking your system.
Right.
And then, like, the following week was, like, maybe 2 or 3 pounds or something like that. But it was motivating enough that first week to go, because I didn't think I lost anything. I got on that, but I was like, I bet I didn't lose anything. This is stupid. I hate it. And I lost 6 pounds. I was like, woo! Whoa. And I got so excited about losing weight. And my clothes were getting baggy. I had to buy new clothes. Oh, my God. I was doing Second City classes. And at the end, we do, 8 or 12 weeks of student shows on the main stage. Right. Or the ETC stage. I don't remember. But I only had one suit. It was from when I was fat.
And so it was, you were the guy swimming in it? Like swimming. David Byrne from the Talking Heads?
Exactly. It's funny as hell because I'm like, oh my God. I was so skinny at that point when I was doing those shows. I didn't know what to do. Everything was so bad. I couldn't even wear the jacket. I just had to wear the shirt and like scrunch it in the back and try to make it. It was so funny. But I didn't care. I was so excited. And I was interning at Second City with a bunch of skinny guys. And I was like, hey guys, we're all skinny now. What are we doing? Well, what's happening? Where does the skinny guys hang out?
So it felt great.
Oh, it felt great.
And you were proud of yourself, and you
Very
were
proud.
Yeah.
Very proud.
So why can't we just keep it there? You know?
Because the addiction part, you know, especially for food-wise, I'm sure alcohol, quitting that for life is very difficult. Food-wise, you gotta eat.
You have to eat.
And it's even more acceptable than alcohol.
Right.
You know, there's so few. I saw Louis Anderson at Largo last night.
Yeah.
Louis Anderson.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and his whole routine still is about food.
Wow.
And he says he's 400 pounds. I bet he's more.
Oh man.
And it's amazing he's still alive.
Yeah, and just won
it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible that he's still alive.
Yeah, it is.
He needed a box to sit on stage, and he broke it.
Are you like during the show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The box broke, and he blamed Largo.
He's really funny. He's really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, but I know he's had bad childhood growing up. You know, it's like it's an emotional thing, and I've noticed like when I was losing weight, this has really become a great motivator for people with addictions and stuff. But when I was losing weight, I noticed like, oh, I'm stressed out. I'm opening the fridge. You know, like I want something. I'm stressed out. I noticed that I'm an emotional eater.
Right.
And even when I started running, I ran at a gym around the corner from me in Andersonville, and they had like TVs on the treadmills. But every fucking commercial break had at least one or two pizza commercials in it. At least. And those were triggering me. I'm like, holy shit. But I was getting so mad because then I started paying attention, like, how many health food commercials are there? Almost none.
Right.
Almost none at all. But you'd see, like, the Weight Watchers commercials or whatever, you know, certain pills to take or, you know, whatever.
Yeah, quick fixes.
Quick fixes or gadgets.
Right.
You know, whatever. But our environment encourages us to be addictive.
Absolutely.
Because we're all addictive. And the companies know it. And they go, oh, well, if we just add more of this, they'll eat more of it.
Right.
Even Ben & Jerry admitted that. Ben & Jerry's, when they started out, I saw a documentary. They were like, oh, we just added more sugar and people liked it more.
Right.
I was like, yeah, no shit.
And hasn't one of those guys, either Ben or Jerry, had like a heart bypass?
One of them's dead.
One of them's dead?
Yep.
Which one?
The fatter one, I guess.
Ben?
I don't know.
Jerry? Please not be Jerry.
He's my favorite.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
So the new thing is protein shakes?
Protein
You think
shakes.
you're going to stick with it?
I hope so. I bought 5 pounds of it. And I'm going back to New York soon, and I told my girlfriend, I was like, I got to get a blender, you know, like this ninja thing we're using.
Is she in New York now?
Yeah.
For how long?
Another couple months.
Shooting a show?
Yeah, she's doing Punisher and Defenders.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I can say that. Yeah, and then back here, and then at some point she'll do Daredevil season 3, but we don't know when yet.
Wow.
So we're kind of back and forth all the time, you know. But that's hard too. Like in New York, I'm living in New York.
Oh man, there's
5 feet from 50 pizza places.
Oh, you're walking down the street, it's like smells come out of the restaurants, and yeah,
it's rough. Those rats have it right, because in that documentary, there's piles of garbage on New York sidewalks.
Because they don't have alleys.
There's no alleys,
right.
So it's for a pickup.
Right.
And they're next to like grates right in the street for water and rain and stuff. And the rats come out of those and go right into the bags. And there was a stack of bags, and one guy's kicking the bag, and there's hundreds
running
of rats
out. I remember that.
Running out into the grates. And I was like, no, I can't take this. I cannot take it.
I know. And they talk about how smart they are, and how, you know, if one gets killed by a trap, the other ones learn from it and then don't go back to the trap, and they wait until the coast is clear and shit. Oh my God, yeah.
We've had rats in our attic.
Here?
Yep. Yeah. Time I'm walking in the house and I hear I'm like, what the fuck? And it's right above me. And turns out it was a rat caught in a trap, and he's trying to get out.
Oh, he was squirming.
He's squirming. Oh. And what I heard was the mouse trap hitting the boards, flopping around. And then it stopped after a couple minutes. It stopped flopping around. And like the next day or so, we had somebody come in and he opened the attic and you could smell it.
Oh.
You could smell it.
Oh.
And he comes down with a bag.
Oh.
It was so grossed out.
Yeah.
Then we cooked them up.
Yeah. So we skinned them, cooked them up.
Put some seasoning.
Those are the joys of home ownership, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can deal with that shit. Yeah.
Oh, it's constant stuff.
Yeah.
Even I came here as like a vacation from New York. I was like, oh, it's good to be home. Oh shit, this has to be done. There's no hot water. There's always stuff.
This is broken.
Yeah, always stuff.
So do you like New York? Being there when you're there? That's an interesting question. Let me before you answer. Just recently, who told me this? A friend of mine, Mike Kaczynski, said he was talking to somebody who lives in New York, and they quoted, or Mike quoted his friend saying that New York is a place that you love, but then learn to hate, and LA is a place that you hate
and
but
learn
you
to
learn
love. I get that. I'm feeling that now because me and my girl were both from New York.
Right.
I'm from Long Island. She's from Brooklyn.
Okay.
Because of, I think we've softened from LA because people here are generally nice.
Yes.
Except for the occasional asshole that's on the road or just the rude agent or whatever.
Hollywood, douche.
Spoiled assholes, whatever.
Yeah.
But I find them in New York too. So, but it's nice to even just go into a store and they're like, hey, how can I help you? Instead of like in New York, like, what do you want?
Fuck you.
Fuck you, you fucking asshole. I'm going to write a bad Yelp review. Yeah, write a bad fucking Yelp review. Fucking. Some people like that.
Yeah.
And I sort of used to like it. I used to get it. I was like, yeah, who cares? But now I'm like, you know what? Just be nice to me.
Yeah.
I'm not being a dick to you. You could be decent to me. You could be decent.
Yeah.
And I don't say that about all New York, of course, but certain places, just like going to the deli, they just look at you stone faced, like, what? You know, like they're resigned. This is my life. I'm making sandwiches for you. Why, you go make your own sandwich, you fucking lazy asshole. You know what I mean? So I don't know. So, but we have a home here.
Yeah,
there we have a small apartment.
Yeah, right.
Here we have a home. We have a yard. Banner gets to run around in the yard. It's so much easier. It's kind of easier, even though we have like responsibilities and stuff.
It's kind of like, well, I've never lived in New York. I've spent time there and loved visiting there. But I think I'm at a point in my life where there is a part of me that's like, shit, I never lived there, and part of me wishes that I did. Mm-hmm. But another part of me thinks exactly what you're saying, that I would just be like, I don't fucking need this. Like, this is just like people on top of each other and loud and stress and
it is so crowded. It is so crazy crowded in New York now.
Yeah.
And it took I mean, they don't even have, like, in the area we're in, they don't even have good movie theaters. Like, I just want to go to a decent movie theater.
Yeah.
They finally built one that's kind of close, and I've been going there for every movie. And but it's bad because they serve beer and food during the movie.
So
I'm like having a beer, having some food.
But does the like romantic idea of New York, you know, like the, oh my God, this is New York, that feeling you get, does that last or does that wear off?
I think that's good for visiting.
Yeah.
Like I have more fun there when I'm visiting for a week than I do staying there for 4 months.
Interesting.
But I go to theater a lot. I love theater, so I go there a lot. You know, that's kind of a pain because you have to go to Times Square and it is mobs of people.
Oh my God.
They had to close off streets. You can't drive on certain streets now just so people can walk around.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how many people are there. It's crazy. But I like Chicago. I miss Chicago.
Yeah, I do too.
How long were you in Chicago for?
I was there for like 12 years. Yeah, and I grew up in a suburb outside of the city. So would my whole life going to the city all the time. And then went to college, University of Iowa. And then, was in Chicago for, I think, 12 years doing I.O. and The Annoyance and Second City.
And I read that you started doing comedy at 13.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I started before comedy. I was a birthday party magician. And would do magic shows.
At 13?
Yeah.
No
Me
shit.
and my best friend from growing up, where we were we had this act that we would do for money for birthday parties.
Wow.
And
how much money would you get?
$60 or something.
Pretty good for 13.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. And we had a whole act, and it was fun.
How long were you doing magic for?
I did it for probably 5 years, 5 or 6 years, and I still really enjoy it.
Well, I remember in Chicago you did a comedy act. You were a magician. It was a comedy. It was the funniest thing ever. And I did a fundraiser there, and I asked you to do the character for the fundraiser.
That's right.
And the funniest part of the whole thing is you have this big case, and you're doing all these things. You're yelling at the audience. Ah! And at one point, you just go in, you pull out a carrot. You go, a carrot!
And then just threw it? Yeah.
That's my favorite thing ever. It sticks out to me so
man,
much.
That means a lot that you remember that.
Oh, yeah. Loved it. It was so funny.
That was really fun to do. And that was, I think the bit of that was the show was I was a magician whose wife just left him right before the show.
At 13?
No. That
guy. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I wish you did that at 13. My wife just left me.
Yeah, hello everyone.
That's so funny.
But so anyway, I saw. But then my dad took me to see my first Second City show when I was 13.
Did he like comedy?
He did. Yeah. Oh yeah. I grew up watching SNL and Animal House and Ghostbusters and Caddyshack with him. And
all Bill Murray movies.
Yeah, he's my hero.
Yeah, mine too. Did you keep that potato chip bag that you threw?
It's on my bookshelf. Yeah, buddy.
Absolutely.
So then I saw Second City, and the show was Slaughterhouse 5, Cattle 0.
Mm-hmm. Who's in it?
Ed Furman, Craig Kukowski, Rich Talrico, Sue Gillen, Tammy Sager, and one other gal.
It's a good group.
It was a great group, yeah.
Real good group. Stephanie Weir, maybe?
She was not in it, but... and I forget who directed it. But anyway... After seeing that show and then seeing all the pictures on the wall there at Second City, being there for the first time, I was like, oh, this is what I really want to be doing. And then signed up for classes the next day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I wish I had gotten into it earlier.
When did you get into it?
21, 22.
And what was it that did it for you?
I was in art school in Florida. I wanted to be a comic book illustrator.
Really?
And got kicked out of art school. They were like, you're not going to be a comic book illustrator.
Really? Kicked out because
my grades were bad.
Yeah, I got you.
And it was hard. My biggest problem were being on time, and I missed one too many classes, and then that deducts from your final grades, and so that's what happened. So anyway, I had always thought about acting, but I was so shy. I was a really shy kid, and I was like, maybe I should think about it. Maybe I'll do it. And then once I was kicked out, I was like, I'm going to move back to New York, and I'm going to take classes in the city, and that's what I did.
Was it a big thing getting kicked out of college, with family and stuff?
Yeah.
Were you? Yeah.
And my mom was like, because I could have tried to get back in for the following year and stuff like that, and I did try, and I think I was gonna be let in, but I talked to my mom. I was like, I don't think I want to. I want maybe try acting. And she's like, well, we're paying a lot of money. So if you're not going to do it. And then when I said I want to be an actor, they were like, well, we're not going to pay for any of that.
Right.
But if you decide what you want to do. And I moved back in their house
in Long Island.
Commuted for 4 years.
How far is that drive? Or how long is that commute?
2 hours door to door.
Wow. Okay.
On a train.
Okay.
So I leave the house. By the time I get to school, it's about 2 hours.
And what was school? Where was the school?
I did a couple of schools. I did HB Studios, which was a nonprofit. It was great. That's where I started improvising.
Oh wow.
And the teacher was so good. She was teaching me stuff I would realize years later. what? That's long form. She's teaching me like single scene stuff and games and relationship. Like every type of improv I've ever done, probably I learned.
That's
there.
what you need. A good teacher.
And she made most people cry. Half the students were from other countries.
Wow.
So half of them did not get my references. But it was totally fun. She loved me. And I took her class 4 times.
Wow.
I took it 4, and I loved it.
Wow.
And then I started improvising in other
And you're
places.
going 2 hours
Yeah.
on the train there, taking class, and then 2 hours home.
Yep.
Wow.
And then I did a 2-year conservatory. A place at the time was called the School for Film and Television. They've changed their name to a more prestigious name now. Now it's a Conservatory of Dramatic Arts or something.
Yes.
Yeah, but
So you knew it was what you knew you loved it.
yeah, especially improv.
Yes.
I tried stand up. You ever try stand up?
I've tried it.
Okay, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
not so
it
not so
scares
much.
me. Yeah.
It scares me, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard getting stage time.
Yeah.
Really hard. So when you were growing up, you have a sister,
I have one sister, yes.
and what were your parents doing for livings?
My dad is an attorney. He's the only lawyer in a small town, like a small farm town outside of my town, which is St. Charles, Illinois. And then my mom was a 3rd grade teacher, and then she also like watched kids out of our house.
Okay.
Kind of like had her own
Daycare
thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
And are they still together?
They are.
Oh,
And still living in the house I grew up in.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What,
Yeah.
30, 40 years?
Let's see. They were actually married. I was born on their 1-year wedding anniversary to the day. So I'm 33 and they've been married 34 years.
Cutting it close.
Kind of.
Cutting it a little close. My sister was born 9 months after my parents were married.
Was you really?
Yeah.
That's a good honeymoon. Yeah.
Honeymoon baby. That's interesting. So when you said you wanted to do acting, were they supportive? I guess as a kid, they're like, sure, whatever, that's fine.
Yeah. You know, I was the class clown always.
And magician.
A magician. I was always entertaining. I think probably a little undiagnosed ADD kind of a thing going
Okay,
on.
interesting.
You know, not a good student. Very. I was always outside playing and shit, and, you know, building forts, and school wasn't my.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mine too.
So I think when I found that, they were just happy that I found something that was, you know, exciting and that I loved. Yeah. So they were very supportive.
And did you go to college?
I did University of Iowa, 4 years, majored in theater.
Why
Iowa? It is a great school, and it is a school that a lot of my friends were going to. And actually, my high school is like the #1 feeder school to Iowa. And I also had an uncle that went there and loved it. And so when I went and looked I also got in based on my...
It's the only one that took me.
yeah, they were based on my ACT scores. But it's really a nice, cool campus. And so...
Did you know you wanted to be an actor, or did you want to do directing or writing? Or
I wanted to do improv and sketch comedy.
That was it.
That was it.
Did they have that as a major there? Okay.
No. And so I was a theater major and would audition for their plays and stuff, but was never, I mean, like, you know, I would audition for Chekhov plays and Shakespeare plays.
Hey, I'm in a Chekhov play! Carrot!
Can I get a suggestion? The seagull. Yeah. But what I did do is I joined the improv group there and helped form an improv group. And so then we would do shows like in the back of bars and stuff. And so that was great. And then I was a theater major with Paul Rust, who is the lead guy in Love. And
You knew him back then?
So he put me in my first play ever, a play that he wrote called Bubblegum Brigade. And classic. And so he put me in my first play ever in college.
Wow.
And then we graduated. I moved to Chicago. He moved to LA. We lost touch totally. And now here, like 15 years later, he put me in my first TV show.
out of nowhere,
Isn't that
or did you
crazy?
audition for it? Or?
I auditioned, and actually the casting director was Allison Jones, who had seen me at Second City, so she was a fan of mine. And then, so I went in for an audition, and it was like Paul and I were like had this reunion, like, holy shit, how are you?
Wow.
And then they brought me in for 3 different roles, and kept saying, "Oh, you're not right for this one. You're not right for this one." And then finally, after auditioning a bunch of times, they said, "You're not totally right for any of these parts, but so we're gonna write you a part." And so my character's name is Chris because of that.
What?
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
What? That's very cool.
So cool.
Hollywood dream.
Hey, man.
Hollywood dream. That's awesome.
It goes to show it's all about who you know, and it's all about being nice to people, and you know, like.
Yep. I love Allison Jones.
Oh, she's the best.
I don't know who she is,
Oh,
but
no.
I love you, Allison J. If you're listening. What was Paul like back then?
He was the funniest kid in the theater department, and kind of like there was this thing called No Shame Theater that was once a week at Fridays at midnight, and it was like this experimental, like, put up anything kind of thing, and he was like the king of that, and would always put up the weirdest, darkest shit, and so he was kind of like, he was like one of the cool kids in the theater department.
You had him on your talk show
I did.
at UCB.
Yes.
And did you guys talk about what you and I talked about? Did that come up at all?
It did.
Okay, it did. Okay, cool. So I can talk about that.
Sure.
So Paul and a guy named Neil Campbell, who's also in a couple episodes of Love.
Who I also went to college with.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes.
They hosted, I think it was called Not Too Shabby back in the day at UCB. It was like a midnight sketch.
The one out here on Franklin?
Yeah.
Yep.
People can come out and try a sketch or whatever. So every week they would host it, and every week they would top whatever they did the week before, like in crazy shit. And the one week I went, and I told you about this.
Literal crazy shit.
One week I went, I forget the context of it. I don't think that matters.
Doesn't matter. Probably not.
But Paul takes his pants down. He's saying he has like a tummy ache or something. His belly ache, basically naked from the bottom down.
Yes.
Maybe his shirt is off too. Maybe, I don't know. And he turned. There's like a plastic thing on the floor. Tarp
of some sort.
Yes. He turns around to the audience, shows his butt, crouches down, spreads his cheeks, and takes a shit on stage. A long one. And there was some girth to it.
It was solid though.
It was solid.
Tapered.
It hung. It was not unlike a Yogurtland when you pull the lever, and the Paul Rust flavor comes out. Okay, and everybody's freaking out. I have like a third row seating.
Great seats for
it. I'm like, what the fuck? And like, it was some crazy shit.
I imagine the audience reaction is like, oh, right?
Oh yeah, just everybody freaking out.
Was there a lot of people there in the audience?
Packed.
Yeah, okay.
Packed.
Okay.
It was packed every week.
Yeah.
And even like the weeks before, they would get naked, they would touch dicks, and they would kiss each other, or just like crazy they were going further and further.
Yeah.
That was my last time going there. But I heard that the week after, the two of them got naked again or something, laid down on the ground, and peed into their own mouths, or maybe into each other's mouth. I think it was their own mouths. And then I heard that Matt Besser had to put a stop to all of that.
All right, you guys, it's getting to be too much.
That's what I heard. Did he talk? So what did he say about it?
So, well, rewind to college and No Shame Theater.
Yeah.
There was and I was not there, probably thankfully, but in No Shame Theater one time, Paul did some monologue, and I forget what the context was again, but during the course of the monologue, he opens up a plastic Tupperware container, takes out some of his own shit, and rubs it all over his body.
What is wrong with this guy?
So Paul is no stranger.
Wow.
To the poo-poo.
He loved the poo-poo. He loved the poo-poo. Whoa.
Yeah, you know, I don't know.
I guess he thinks everybody else loves it too. It's like, hey, you're welcome.
All I will say is he is a very talented, funny fucking dude, and he's not afraid to go there.
Nope, he's not.
Yeah.
He's not. I mean, considering where his mind's at,
Yeah.
the show is very tame.
Yes, you're right. You're
considering.
right. Yes.
I mean, it's a very funny show, and you know, it's got edge to it and everything. But I didn't see him rubbing shit on himself or anything.
Wait till season 2, pal.
Season 2, you know what?
Coming out in March.
You got to top yourself. You got to top yourself. So does he? Does he look back on that and go, "What was I thinking? I was just a crazy kid," or
I don't think so. I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, like, I wonder.
Yeah.
I think he is more than anybody I know, like a true artist, you know, and like really not afraid to go there. And
Apparently.
But I in some ways like wish I was more like that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, I think that
I do to a degree.
right? Yeah.
I don't need to take a shit in front of everybody, though. You know what I mean? I'm okay. I'm okay living the rest of my life.
You're okay shitting in toilets.
I'm not gonna be on my deathbed. Go, God, I wish I shat in front of a bunch of people.
Right.
Rubbed it on myself. I will never have that thought.
But like in that, like, no, I agree with you there. But in that, like, I think like in that. You look around now and there's a lot of like interesting alt comedy shit going on, you know, with like Tim and Eric, or even like our friend Connor O'Malley's doing all this crazy shit in New York. That's great. And, you know, part of me, I think even having done Second City kind of gives you this like polish, you know, it's like this, like, I'm an entertainer and I'm going to show all you tourists a good time tonight, you know, and like, now give me a suggestion of a location. And it's kind of like, it can be a little like cheese dick, you know, like, I don't know.
I think it depends on your own talent level, right? Because you could do that, and I've seen Second City shows that with all tourists, but it's still real edgy and
true.
Interesting and funny and
that
all
is
that
true.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I saw Sam Richardson almost naked.
That's right. I remember that
in the main stage show.
That was a great show.
It was a great show.
South Side of Heaven.
And I was like, wow, hello, Sam. You're making me think about things. I think he's got to come on here soon.
Oh, that's great.
I hope so.
Oh, he's a great dude.
That's amazing. Paul Rust.
Yeah. But anyway, so you know, I think that there's a part of me that wishes I was a little more willing to like go for it. But you're right. I don't have to shit on.
I mean, give me right. I'll leave it to him. That's his thing. Now, if I do it, I'm pulling a Paul Rust. You know what I mean? I don't want to be accused for plagiarizing.
Exactly. I saw that back in 2010. Yeah.
There's no corn in it. You know? But now every time I see Paul Rust, I cannot.
I mean, how could you? I mean,
I'm traumatized from it. Yeah. I mean, I didn't know him very well. We talked briefly a few times here and there.
Nicest dude ever, too, by the way.
Him and Neil were like super nice, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go see this show. They're funny and nice. Oh no.
Hey, that's what being born and raised in teeny tiny small town Iowa gets you.
It's one way or the other, right? Yeah. You're either like a religious freak or
like
something.
FarmersOnly.com or you're
right. So speaking of, all right, so we talked about Saturday Night Live in New York and stuff. You auditioned.
I did
for Saturday Night Live a few years back.
A bunch of times.
Yeah. What was the first time?
First time they ever saw me was at I.O. Chicago, and I was doing that magician character that we were talking about.
Okay.
And Sharna put me in the showcase as the very last person to go, because I always performed at I.O., but I wasn't like one of Sharna's like little babies, you know, like I wasn't like one of.
Wait a second, was I there? Let me think about this.
It was the upstairs theater.
I went to one of those.
Oh, like one of those SNL showcases?
Yes, I went, and Vanessa Bayer.
Yeah, I think that was probably...
Was that the one?
I think it was, yeah.
Yes, I saw your audition.
You did?
That's why I asked you to do my fundraiser.
Oh, because you saw...
Because I saw that.
Really?
Yes. Gosh. And fucking, you were fantastic. Vanessa.
Oh, she's the best. That's when she first did the Miley Cyrus thing.
Yep, she did like all those characters have ended up on SNL.
Yep.
From beginning to end... non-stop hilarity from the audience.
She's the best.
It was very tight.
We lived on a cruise ship together for Second City, Vanessa and I, and she said she's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get a call back, I guess, from that.
Get flown
you
there.
Go to New York.
Get flown there with Vanessa and with
not 80 at the time. 80 is the year after.
Tom Flanagan. Sam Richardson. Jet Eveleth.
Oh.
Was that
Holly?
Paul Britton.
Paul.
Maybe Holly. Who else was there? Yeah.
Katie? Not Katie yet. Katie was the year after, I think.
Katie Rich. Yeah, she wasn't that year.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, went there, and that was the first time I auditioned there in New York on stage.
So what's that like?
Oh, it's the fucking scariest thing ever.
Yeah.
I mean,
but are you going like my whole life? I mean, I can't even imagine. I did extra work on SNL like many years ago, and that sketch got cut before it went live. But even just being there, I'm like, I can't believe.
Isn't it? It's like. I mean, it's like the church. It's like the place.
It's a comedy church for
sure. It is, and the place that your whole life have been worshiping and watching, and Farley and it's always Phil Hartman, and
it's always maintained relevance.
Yes, always.
It's not like this year nobody good is in this cast. Right. You know, like they just keep churning out great people.
It's amazing. It's an institution. Yeah.
Oh, so good. So sorry.
So all of that was floating around my head while I was fucking.
Do you know what do they tell you before you get there? You have to have this prepared. Boom.
They give you. I think it's you have 5 minutes to do whatever you want. They really say you do whatever you want, but then there's this thing that everybody has heard over the years: do 3 original characters and 3 impressions.
Right. Did you go in knowing thinking that way?
Yeah. So I worked on this audition hard and.
What were your characters?
So I did. So they had only seen me do this magician guy in Chicago.
Yeah.
Because I just did that for my showcase or whatever.
It's still my favorite.
Well, I knew it really well, and I knew it was funny, and in retrospect, I mean, Vanessa did a bunch of characters, and that was smart, Yeah. So anyway, for my New York audition, I did a bunch of characters, and I started with this character that was this thing that I was doing for a while that was like all my Chicago aunts combined into one lady.
Okay.
And it's like this very Chicago, like, oh my God, are you having the time of your life living in Chicago? Like doing the improvs, going to the bars. And I had this wig and everything. And so that was what I opened with. And I remember people saying, nobody laughs. Like, it's like you're performing into a vacuum. Nobody laughs. And I remember I started that character and I had it really tight and funny. And all of a sudden, a bunch of people were laughing.
Who do you know who?
Who's there?
Laughing?
Lorne Michaels is there. You see him right there out of the corner of your eye.
I hear he's like in a spotlight.
Oh, he's like
because it's to intimidate you, right?
Straight ahead is the camera because they're filming it.
Right.
Right here is a boom mic. Right
above your head.
Right above your head. That's moving around, and then off to the left is him, and he's definitely prominently placed.
He's on a throne.
He's on a throne, and then
he's on the Game of Thrones throne. It sells swords.
He's sitting there just petting a cat, like Dr. Evil. Seth Meyers, I remember, was there. Steve Higgins, the guy who's a producer there, and Jimmy Fallon's little sidekick guy.
Right. Yep. Pat O'Brien, Mike O'Brien. I mean,
I wonder if he was there or
he was at the audition.
Yeah. Who else is there? Then a bunch of the writers and stuff are there. But you don't have a lot of time to really scan it. It's like they're kind of out of the corner of your eye.
Oh,
it's so intimidating. And you're standing on the stage where people deliver the monologue, right there.
That's and I get why they do that because it's like it's a live show. You can't fuck up, you can't freeze.
Right.
You if you can't handle this, then you can't handle.
Then you can't handle the show.
You can't handle the show.
Lorne Michaels even said that to me once because I've met with him a bunch of times, and he said it's better to have the person freeze up in an audition than on the actual live show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's ever happened.
I mean, I'm sure there's been instances of people
think so
freaking out or
He's like, that was the 5 years I wasn't a part of it.
It's happened, but not under my
rule. So how was he to you? Was he pretty cool?
So I did that audition and got some laughs and did my characters, and then flew home, and then got flown back to meet with him.
So you get flown back to Chicago. Then how long later do you get flown?
I think
back
maybe
there?
a week, 2 weeks.
A week or
like
two,
that.
you go back.
Go back.
Short flight, 2 hours.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Yeah, and at this point, I was in the Second City touring company. That's where I was, like in the Chicago hierarchy or whatever.
Right.
And so then you go back and they put you up at this same hotel, which is right by 30 Rock, and you get this
Holiday
little room.
Inn.
And yeah,
Is it a small room?
The club quarters. Yeah, it's small. It's very
Yeah,
small, and it's very much like they just say, "You just go in your room and we'll call you. Just wait there and we'll call you."
Oh God.
And so you're just sitting there, and then you get a phone call. Okay, come on over, and we'll get you your badge and get you into the thing. And I remember sitting on like this couch outside of his office, And
For how long? How long did you wait?
For a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it was like the 5 hours that some people have said.
Oh my God.
But you wait a while, and then you come in, and I remember he had his shoes off and he was eating popcorn.
How much is what? I would love to know the truth about what he does and how much of it is like thought out in his mind and how much is, like just trying to fuck with everybody.
I know. It's very like, he was also just kind of like looking up at the ceiling. I remember, and kind of just
throwing pencils in the ceiling.
And I remember he was just kind of like pontificating, like just talking into the ether, And I remember he said something about like, well, you're a young guy, and your audition was very funny, and but then I remember he said like, I think Malcolm Gladwell talks about the 10,000 hours that it takes to become an expert. Mm-hmm. So we really enjoyed seeing you, but go back to Chicago and keep getting better and getting stage time, and then we'll be in touch.
So he brought you to New York to say you don't have the job.
Yes.
Wow.
That was the first time.
That was the first time.
And then there were many more after that.
Really? Well, hey, guy, walk me through them. If you're up for it.
So I think
each time he's eating something different.
Cheese popcorn, caramel corn,
Twizzlers.
I think all in all, they flew me to New York 6 times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you have to audition more or just talks? Okay.
So then back in Chicago, I then got on the ETC stage, and so then he saw me again in a full show.
Different characters.
Different characters, That was actually a great show, and 80 was in that show.
80 Bryant.
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay, so that's where he got 80.
Yes, and that was a great show, and so he saw all of that, and then flew us out again, and that was me, 80, Mike Kaczynski, maybe Michael Lair. I feel like maybe he flew the whole cast out. So then Tawny, Newsom, and Andiel. So anyway, another audition, brand new characters, except for one character, my Chicago aunt.
Yeah.
I did again, and in my mind, this is funny remembering this. In my mind, I thought, I'm gonna do like a callback to this character, and they're gonna that got so many laughs the first audition, and they're gonna be like, oh yeah, that character is great, And so did my audition again, went back to Chicago.
Wait, how'd that go? Did it get a reaction again?
So I'll tell you.
Okay.
So do all new characters. I forget what the fuck I did, but bunch of characters. Fly back to Chicago, get flown back to New York to meet with him again.
Okay.
Meet with him, and he I think this time there were some people in the office, like maybe Seth Meyers or somebody,
Security,
and he's talking, and he's like, your audition was funny, good to see you again, you're great at Second City, it's probably time to retire that ant character. And I was like, oh, okay. I thought maybe that would, I thought maybe that'd be like a fun callback, but
he doesn't have any ants. He can't relate to it. Oh,
yes,
that's painful. That's kind of painful.
Oh, that was like, yeah,
that's kind of painful. Oh,
so, but then that time he said to me that. He's like, Jason Sudeikis is on the show, and you guys are kind of similar. And he said that if I were to get on the show, between him and I think, was Taryn? Maybe Taryn was on the show.
Was still there, yeah.
because I'm kind of similar to those guys, I would be battling for screen time.
Right.
And he said, once you get knocked down early, you're kind of screwed. So he said to me, once Jason Sudeikis leaves, we're going to bring you on. Kind of like told me I had the job, but not yet.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, okay.
Okay, let's get rid of this Sudeikis guy.
Let's fucking get rid of this guy. Well, then what happens is Sudeikis was gonna leave. I'm remembering this now, but he was gonna leave, but then because of his Mitt Romney impression, he stayed on longer because it was the election or whatever.
Yeah.
So he stayed on longer. So then another whole year goes by. He comes to my next Second City show, but only sees the second act, and then flies us out again, and that was
oh my god,
yeah, I forget who the hell it was, but it was me and Mike Kaczynski got flown out again for sure.
Okay.
And then we meet. I met with him again, and then that was the year that he hired like Brooks Wheelan and Kyle Mooney and
Jay Farrow
maybe, and
Jay was with Vanessa.
Beck Bennett.
Beck, yeah, and Kyle, yeah. And so then I didn't hear anything for a long time, and then I got a call from my agents saying, you know, they still really like you a lot, but they're going to hire these other guys kind of instead of you. And then I was like heartbroken, of course. Yeah.
And then I get an email from like there's this really nice girl who works there named Lindsay Shookus, who's like a producer there in charge of new talent or development or whatever the hell. She sent me this really nice email that was like, "We love you, and sorry it didn't work out this time.
I really like the ant character. Keep it up."
Yeah, and then meanwhile they hire 80 and Cecily and all these people.
Cecily, that's right.
Yeah. So that was kind of a tough part of my life. Like that was like.
Do you think that? I mean, do you was that hard? Like, was that a hard like drinking wise? Did you think?
Big time.
Yeah.
And I maybe didn't even know it at the time, but it was like I was dealing with all of that by drinking and drugs and.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What kind of drug? Anything more than pot?
Cocaine a little bit, ecstasy.
Okay, so a little bit.
Mushrooms.
Okay, a little bit.
Never meth. Never heroin.
Check.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You're healthy as a horse.
Yeah. But, a lot of time has passed since that happened. That was tough. That was really tough. And then I went through this horrible breakup with a girlfriend and blah, blah, blah. And I was really kind of in a dark place and hitting it pretty hard.
Yeah.
So, but then I was able to, I moved out here and kind of like got my shit together. And now, looking back on that, I kind of think, and I know this might sound like I'm full of shit, but I kind of think it was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Not getting it.
Yeah, no.
Because I think that from what I've heard, that job is so stressful and cutthroat and competitive.
Yeah.
I know how I would have dealt with that stress, and it would have been by drinking and drugging. And I think I probably pretty easily could have gone down like the Farley Road and fucking kill myself.
That's good.
Right?
Maybe Lawrence saw that. He's seen that a lot.
Could be.
Maybe he's like, he did that character twice, and it wasn't that good. He's gonna go down that road. I know it. I can't trust him.
Right?
I'm doing this for you, Chris.
Right?
Yeah.
It could be.
Maybe.
We actually had drinks one time. Like he brought some of the talent out for drinks. Actually before an audition one time, like the night before. And I remember I ordered 2 Manhattans.
For yourself?
Not at once, but I ordered one and finished it, and then ordered another one.
Right.
And I was sitting next to him, and I wonder if he kind of clocked that and was like, "Oh, this guy's hitting it hard." Because I was just nervous.
I wouldn't even drink. I don't think I'd even drink.
Right?
Night before an audition like that? No, I wouldn't even.
Yeah, but when you're going out to drinks with the guy, what are you supposed to do?
I don't care.
Well, when you're really fucking nervous, sitting next
I'd have my soda water with the lime, right? Have that.
Yeah. So hindsight is, of course, is 2020, but yeah.
God, that's so stressful. But I've never even had the opportunity to audition for him. So kudos to you, though. Really,
Thank you.
Congratulations that you had all that.
It was cool. It was a once in a lifetime experience.
Or 3.
Right. It was a thrice in a lifetime experience, and I'm glad it happened.
Right.
It turned me into who I am today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you're doing very well.
Thanks.
On that note, I think in your upcoming work now, I didn't even talk about the stuff you've been doing since you've been out here. New Girl, which is me and my girlfriend's favorite show.
Oh yeah, that was really fun.
Love New Girl. Come Back, love it.
Great show.
Great show. You did Bob and David on Netflix, aka Mr. Show.
So cool. Bob's my hero.
They're not allowed to say Mr. Show, I'm sure, but
which is stupid.
it's just so stupid.
Yeah.
Beep, and then Love, and then you got Love, which is awesome. And then upcoming stuff, you're doing Unicorn Store, directed by Brie Larson.
That was very cool. I got to shoot a part I got to be in a part in that movie, and that shot a couple weeks ago, and that was a blast.
That's awesome, and she directed you.
She directed me. She was so cool.
I love her.
She's so fucking cool, man. And I was expecting I'd never met her before, and she last year won
The Oscar
for Best Actress in the World. I mean, literally, that's what it is. It's Best Actress in the World.
Yep.
She won that award, and so I was expecting her to be maybe
a little,
I don't know.
And she's hot, and she's been in the business a long time.
She couldn't have been cooler. Couldn't have been more down to earth and cool.
She's gonna be Ms. Marvel or
She's
Captain Marvel,
right?
Captain Marvel. It's a big deal.
Big deal.
And it's her first directing
feature.
And so what's it like? Her as a director, like, what's she like?
She was super cool. She was very she let us improvise, and
That's nice.
I played like this. It's a small part, but like this business guy who's giving a presentation, and then she bursts in and breaks it up, and I got to improvise a whole bunch, and she was very playful, and that was cool.
That's great.
Yeah.
So your scene was with her.
It was with her. Yeah.
Anybody else?
Who else was in it? It was me and another business guy.
Sam Jackson's in it.
Yeah, I
Joan
didn't do
Cusack.
anything with them.
That's fine.
Yeah, whatever. But it was cool.
Now, when you audition, do you audition for her, or you audition for a casting agent or something?
So that one, boom, is Allison Jones.
Allison Jones. I love Allison Jones.
Do you?
I love her.
You should she should listen to this podcast.
She should. I'm a big fan of hers.
So I interviewed her recently for because I have this monthly show at UCB, and she was one of my guests. So anyway, she saw me at Second City, and has been so cool to me, and she got me the job, The Comeback. She got me this Unicorn Store. She got me Love. She got me another movie I just did recently called Lady Bird.
Lady Bird, written and directed by Greta Gerwig.
Another super cool gal.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, what's she like?
She's very cool. She's very indie cool.
Yeah,
and that scene I got to do, me and Tracy Letts, the great Tracy Letts from Steppenwolf.
Yes, Tracy Letts.
It was just the two of us, and it was a job interview scene, and I was interviewing him for a job, and it was just the two of us. It was so cool.
Oh my god!
So
I just met him.
When?
In New York, he did a TJ and Dave show.
He does those.
Yeah, and I met him afterwards. I just interviewed Pasquazi.
Where's that? Barrow Street Theater.
Barrow Street Theater, and I met buddy, and I was like, I gotta meet Tracy Letts. I met Tracy Letts. I said, nice to meet you. I'm a big fan. Dave Pasquazi just did my podcast. Would you ever have any interest in doing my podcast? And he seemed interested. And then when I did some follow up,
not so much. I run into that with my show too. It's kind of
yeah. There's a lot of that, right? How do you get your guests? I guess just asking.
My manager Naomi Odenkirk, Bob's wife, is really helpful with booking people. Yeah.
Oh, she should help me.
Well, we should help each other.
Yeah, happy to. Oh,
hell
buddy,
yeah, man.
Buddy. How about you want to interview Banner?
You get me your people, I'll get you my people.
Okay. Well, I just bought a ticket for your next show.
Oh, you did? Oh, thanks, man. Thank you.
Bob Odenkirk, I love him.
Which one? Does it say Bob Odenkirk?
I think so.
He was my first guest.
Oh, maybe I'm...
Yeah. He was my first guest ever.
Okay, I'm reading... Okay, who's your next guest?
I don't have it booked yet, but it could be big. could be big. I'm waiting to hear.
Maybe Paul Rudd's taking a shit on stage. That's big. That's big. What are you doing? My dog wants attention.
Depends on what he ate the night before. But
well, you know who would be big?
Oh,
Brie Larson would be big.
But does she do comedy?
Yes.
Okay, well then there you go.
You ever see United States of Terror?
Oh, that's right. That's
It
right.
was a very funny show.
That's right.
Dark though, but very funny also. She was great, and she did like 21 Jump Street.
That's right.
Remember?
Okay.
I know all about Brie Larson.
She's gonna be my next.
And she does funny tweets sometimes.
That's right. She does. She's very cool.
How was the comeback? Working on the comeback?
Oh, so fun. That was another one that we got to improvise a lot on, and she is what the hell's her name?
Lisa Kudrow.
Lisa Kudrow. She's so cool, and she just like I played like a douchebag agent in the last episode of this last season, and
Banner's annoying now. Banner, go to bed. Banner, go to bed.
God, I love him.
Go to bed, buddy. Go to bed. Okay, go to bed. We'll be done soon. Go to bed. Good boy. Yeah. So go ahead. Sorry.
Anyway, cool experience.
What were you, so she's good. Oh, he's back. What and the vibes good on the set and everything like
that one was really cool. It was like a party scene in the Hollywood Hills, and so there were all these extras, you know, like these like beautiful Hollywood people.
Mm-hmm.
And the funniest thing I remember from that was like that was when I really realized that like on set they treat the actors like gold, but they treat the extras like shit.
I've done a lot of extra work.
Oh my God, I remember they're like, hey, you in the blue, move, you're in the shot, move, you're expendable. Literally like animals.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah.
They are animals, especially non-union.
Especially non-union. But that's the coolest thing about out here is like, you know, you'll get to have experiences like that where you're just all of a sudden like part of this cool thing, and like, I mean, it only happened. Right now, I'm at a point in my career where stuff is happening, but not like all the time, right. You know. And so when stuff does happen, I think I really like appreciate it and have fun because like, it's like being on a set of a movie. It's like, holy shit, this is so cool! Like, this is how they make movies. Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah.
Are you writing?
Yeah.
You doing some writing stuff?
Me and my improv group that started in Chicago, actually, we're pitching this thing right now. And
which group?
It's called Summer Nights, and it's me and John Hartman and Mike Kaczynski and Poonam Patel and Tim Stoltenberg and Emily Walker.
Oh, yeah.
And we all started at I.O. in Chicago, and now we're all out here, and we're trying to pitch something as a group. That would be really
great.
Fun. Yeah.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, thanks.
So you do comedy. What made you want to do this talk show at UCB?
So I did this a couple times in Chicago. I did it at the Annoyance, and I interviewed Mick Napier in front of like an audience, and it was like me interviewing him about his life and his career, and then also letting people ask questions, and it was just like a fun night that I did, years ago.
Right.
And then out here, Naomi Odenkirk's my manager, Bob's wife, and she invited me and my fiance to their house for Thanksgiving, and so we were there hanging out, and I was asking Bob all these questions about the old days in Chicago and Farley and Del Close and stuff, and Bob told me, he goes, I actually interviewed Del Close like in 1984, and he goes, and I have the audio recording of it.
Wow, what did he do with it?
So I remember I was like, holy shit, I didn't know that exists. And then he said, I wish I could do some kind of a comedy talk or something. And so then this light bulb went off, and I said, what if, could I interview you, somewhere and we can talk about this? And he said, yeah. And so then I reached out to UCB and said, would you give me a slot? And it was just going to be a one-off thing. Right. But then the whoever it was, the artistic director, Mike Still, said, what if I gave you 3 slots and you fill it with other people? And I said, great. And so then, so that's what started it. And now I've done, I think, like 12 shows. Wow. And it's been so fun. And it's once a month, and I just get to talk to my heroes and pick their brain. It's cool.
That's amazing. Who have you enjoyed the most? Bob, of course.
Bob was great. Fred Willard was so great.
Legend.
Andy Richter.
Yeah, he's great.
Lorraine Newman from the original SNL cast.
Yeah,
so
she's
cool.
Amazing.
Dave Koechner.
Great.
Tim Heidecker from Tim and Eric.
Yep.
He was really interesting. Allison Jones, the casting director.
Yep.
Martin Mull, old school comedy. Yeah. So cool.
Well, it's great. Fred Willard and Martin Mull.
Right?
From what was the show that they did?
It was called, God, what the hell was it called? Something Tonight.
It was a fake
Fernwood Tonight.
Fernwood Tonight. It was a fake talk show back in like the 70s?
We talked all about it.
So cool.
So cool.
I asked Andy Richter to be on. I don't know him from a hole in the wall, but I went up to him. I was like, "Would you be interested in doing my podcast?" I loved his honesty about it. He was like, "No," because I basically just do people I know and friends and stuff like that.
Who have you had on here?
Oh gosh.
And I want names, baby, big names.
I've got 109 up.
Holy shit!
So that's a lot of names, but like some that stand
Rattle
out.
off some of your faves.
Chris Hardwick. My
fiance is doing At Midnight today.
Yes.
After this, I'm going to watch her do a taping of it.
That's so awesome that she gets to do that.
So cool. But keep going.
Fucking Chris is the busiest guy. He's got a new game show, The Wall. I watched, and it's very stressful. It's very stressful to watch. But he's Walking Dead. He does all the, and like Talking Saul. He does the after show for.
Fucking does it all. That guy.
He's a really incredible guy. So all right, so Chris Hardwick. Let's see. Matt Walsh is a great one.
UCB, awesome.
I'd have to. Oh my god, I don't remember anyone. Well, I've had a lot of Daredevil people on.
Oh sure.
True Blood people. I had the winner of Project Greenlight, the most recent.
The bald guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, he's got like short hair.
Yeah.
He just coincidentally, I was in Brooklyn. He lives in Brooklyn. I watched like. Not as it aired, but I watched like way after that season, and I just wrote him on Facebook, and he's like, "Yeah, sure." And he came over, and did my. It was so cool just to have like
an interesting dude.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I remember watching that.
It was very, very nice of him to come over. Oh gosh, I've had lots of really great people. I'm blanking. Lots of true. I said that.
You've done 109.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I'm lining up a bunch this month. A bunch of them.
Do you?
I'm getting Martin Sexton. Do you know Martin Sexton? He's a singer. He's a really fantastic singer. He does like blues and jazz type. Amazing. He's my girlfriend's favorite.
That's great.
And I knew he was playing close by here soon, and I just went on his website and wrote to his manager, and I said, "Could he come here for an hour or two?" She goes, "No, but if you want to go to him for a half hour." I said, I'll take it.
Do you find this to be like kind of therapeutic in a way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I like talking about even like addiction stuff. I like talking about it.
Me too.
Because I relate to it. I feel like a lot of people relate to it. And it takes away the secretiveness of it. You know? And the shame of it, I guess, embarrassment and all that stuff. At least somewhat, I think. I agree.
I think that, I mean, there's obviously a lot of this stuff now, but I remember when, like, WTF first came out, the Mark Maron thing, and, like, just, like, devouring those episodes.
Me too.
And remembering how honest it was, and just, like, two people connecting, who sometimes they're, like, old pals, and sometimes they're strangers, you know? But just, like, the human connection of it, and, like you just said, talking about shit that usually doesn't get talked about and is like hush hush, sweep it under the rug stuff.
Yep.
And I remember listening to those episodes at a point in my life where I was going through some shit.
Well, he's another addict.
Right, exactly. Right? And being able to relate to it and finding, inspiration and just like, oh shit, I'm not the only one who deals with this shit.
Yep, and struggles. And all that stuff, which I think we all do. I think we just all do in general. But I went to Australia recently, a few months ago. And
just on a vacay?
I was running.
Excuse me.
I ran
a half marathon.
But I was there a couple weeks. And I must have listened to 60, 80 hours of Mark Maron.
Yep. It's great. Did you listen to the Bruce Springsteen one?
Not yet.
Listen to it. It's great. It's one of the best I've heard in a while.
I want to get his book too.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we talked about a lot.
Can
Let
I
me
ask
see.
you something?
Nope, I can't. Sorry, but I asked the questions here. Go ahead. What do you want to know?
So, we're like friends in passing. We like have known each other from Chicago and stuff.
Yes.
But we're not like close, like bros hanging out.
We are now.
We are now, and I hope we hang out more.
Me too.
But so whenever people are like, "Oh yeah, EJ's great," but the eyesight thing always comes up. Where are you at with that? Like what?
It's all better.
It is.
No, I'm just
No, I knew you were joking.
well, I'm legally blind, and it's a degenerative disease, so it's getting worse as time goes on.
Yes.
I try to take care of it as best I can, and so where I'm at now is, I can still see things, but it's like a tunnel vision now. It's like this.
Is one eye worse than another? Or?
I think my right eye is worse than my left.
Okay.
When I close, I see less. If I close one and open, get the other open.
So to someone that's never heard of what this is, how do you just explain it?
Oh, like the tunnel vision. Tunnel vision tends to, people kind of get what a tunnel vision is. And,
Yeah. But it's you're slowly losing your
right. I say it attacks peripherally, so I don't have any peripheral vision.
Okay.
And it goes inward, and then a lot of people will bring up macular degeneration because maybe their grandmother has it or something, which is the opposite. That starts in the middle and works its way outward.
Oh, interesting.
So I say, yeah, but this is, the opposite, kind of the opposite, and it's over time. So, and it runs in my family. My brother has it. My nephews have it. My grandfather was blind, and all that stuff.
So how, when you say you manage it or try to take care of it, how?
The sun's real bad. So like when I'm running those marathons and I'm blindfolded because I'm protecting them from the sun. So the sun's real bad for them. So I'm always wearing hats and sunglasses. And sometimes if it's too bright outside, I'll just won't go out.
Interesting.
Or I'll get a Uber somewhere or something, even if it's close.
Okay.
And I take vitamins, eye vitamins. Try to stay away from certain food. Doctors have said certain foods are bad and some foods are better because it's all about blood flow in the eye.
Okay.
My dad just told me that he might have glaucoma.
Jeez.
Yeah. Oh God.
Just found out?
Yeah. He's like, I have to take eye drops for the rest of my life. Oh my God. Wow. So that has nothing to do with the choroideremia. That's the choroideremia comes from my mom's side. So the glaucoma is just like age and just not, I guess, being healthy or something.
Okay.
But it's like too much pressure is in his eyes right now or something.
Whoa.
Yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen with that whole stuff. But yeah, but that's pretty much.
So is it going to keep getting worse?
Yeah, it'll go to total blindness.
It will.
Yeah.
And you don't know when though.
No. Probably. I mean, my grandfather went blind in his 40s.
Okay.
So part of me running this year, I turned 40. So I was like, well, I'm turning 40. I should see the world before maybe I can't, and I'll run marathons just to say I could do that and maybe raise money and stuff like that. Inspiring. But
I was about to say inspiring, but
I can see it on your face. I can see it. But I still think about acting though all the time. Like improv is great because there's nothing to bump into on stage, which is nice. But I still think about like, well, I'll watch a commercial or something. I could do that. But would people give me a shot to do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I come in with a cane, would people give me that shot? I don't know.
So how does it affect just your outlook on life? I mean, to me, hearing this, it just puts all my bullshit problems into perspective. Like,
yeah, your stuff's bullshit. I agree.
But I mean,
Big
it
pussy.
has to affect how you fucking appreciate things, right? Or how you...
Yeah, I think so. And, it's scary because it affected my family. Like I said, my nephews have it. And they're 12 and 8. And my brother's got it, and he's 30, And he's struggling. Like I said, he's struggling a lot. So, yeah, it's shook our family up pretty good. It still shakes him. But, it made me see the world. I don't know if I didn't have it that I would have done that, or that I would have raised $500,000 for charity, or
Yeah, I don't. Probably not.
done 15 marathons and all these fundraisers, and I mean, probably not. So there is that, and then I don't, I'm not happy I have it, but I'm trying to make the best of it.
Yeah.
And I'm also trying to fight it. I'm trying to do both. I'm trying to accept it and fight it at the same time. Like I know I have this thing. I talk about it. I'm not just gonna pretend I don't have it. My grandfather never walked with a cane or a dog, and he just felt around. He would go to work and he'd feel around.
Did he tell people though? I mean, like.
Yeah, you had to.
You have
at
to,
a
right,
certain point. It was, but initially they were lying about it, of like how he went blind and stuff. But then he fell down a manhole cover.
Oh fuck!
He fell on train tracks off a platform.
Jesus Christ!
So,
isn't that like? Doesn't it just show the difference of generations? Like back then, you just dealt with it.
Yeah,
you
right.
Sucked it up.
You use a stick. Where are you from, you ladies'
Fucking
man?
Pussy.
You sissy. No, you fall on those tracks, and maybe you won't get hit by a train.
Oh, you hope the train doesn't come.
And if it does come, you deal with it.
I remember when I told my dad one time that I was going to a therapist, and he rolled his eyes, and it's like, it's just a different generation, like. But I remember wanting to say, motherfucker, if you would have gone...
Yeah, I wouldn't need to.
Probably. I wouldn't need to.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But,
So when you're out in the world, though, you carry the stick every time you go out, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's my safety.
Do you find... I'm sure people treat you different, right?
Yes. Yeah. But, like...
How does that show up?
They get nervous, though.
They get nervous?
I think a lot of people don't know what to do. They get around that. They're like... What? They feel responsible for me, and like I said, I could still see some.
Yeah.
So I have to. They don't know what I can and can't see, and so some people just grab me. Like I don't know them. They haven't said anything, and they'll grab my arm or something. And sometimes that makes me really mad. And I understand where it's coming from.
Sure.
But I'm like, please don't do that. I'm okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I know that just. Because I feel like I've seen you before. Like, I remember at Largo I saw you and you were standing there with a stick. And I remember I came up to you and, like, I heard my voice get louder. Like, EJ, Chris Witaske, right here. I'm right in front of you.
From Chicago, Illinois.
But you're right. I mean, people don't know what to do. You know?
And some people think if I can see some, why do I have the stick?
Oh,
why do I have the cane? And it's because... I bumped into enough shit,
right?
That it helps.
Yeah.
In Chicago, I started using it in Chicago.
I remember, yeah.
And I had bumped into my last fire hydrant, which is the most painful fucking thing.
Like the shins. Where does it get you? Shins or knees?
Shins.
Yeah. Oh fuck, man.
And you're just bruised forever. That's like permanent bruising. I don't know why, but it fucking. You can, as lightly as you want to tap on that. I don't know how. It, like, gets harder. And I don't know how to explain it. But I was like, fuck this. I'm not bumping into this anymore. And I went and I got a cane.
Okay, so two questions. So,
this is an interviewer interviewing an interviewer.
Well, I'm very interested. I'm very intrigued. So it is that you've got two interviewers here.
We'll share this episode. You can play it on UCB. Yeah.
So how does the cane work? Like, I mean, probably fucking obvious. You just use it to...
Yeah, you feel around. One, it's good to tell other people that something's wrong with
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So like cars or people that are on their phone. Everyone's on their phones.
Right.
So no one's really paying attention. But so that's one. And then like if I have... The biggest problems I have are at night or if it's too bright. So if the sun is glaring so much that I can barely see anything, it's good to feel like the sidewalk or whatever. Same thing at night. Like my street is really poorly lit at night. I have to use it to get up and down the block. Or Banner. I've been using Banner now as a guide too.
Wow.
Because he's such a good...
Have you gotten like better at it? I'm sure it's like a skill, right? The stick?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And I took lessons in Chicago. I went to the Lighthouse of the Blind and I got a free can and free lessons, and I did that for like 8 weeks.
Oh wow!
And worked with somebody, and if it gets worse, I'm sure I'll do more lessons.
Yeah.
You know, when it goes all gone. But
Can
hopefully,
you right now, like for me, how would you like how small are the tunnels?
it's like it's not separate tunnel. It's like one. You know, it's still like one tunnel. But like let's say like, I always liken it to like pan and scan. You know, like on a movie.
Yeah.
So like, let's say normally you see widescreen.
Right.
And then all of a sudden the edges are chopped off.
Okay.
And now you just see that. So even at a movie theater, I have to sit
in the very back.
In the very back, and even then, I still have to look around a lot. You know, depending if it's a big screen or something.
Wow.
I went to foolishly. I saw Sully in IMAX, and I'm like, I do not know what's happening. I'm looking around. I'm like, all I see is nostrils. And yet I still enjoyed the movie. Yeah, so it's stuff like that. So like this phone, for instance, I have a phone right next to me. When I look here straight ahead at the microphone, I don't see the phone anymore.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Wow. So it's that much of. I mean, that's inches.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I've had lots of tests and stuff, and they're scary. They're scary. So when I was in Chicago, was it Chicago? I don't remember, but no, it was still New York. I had my first initial test in 2003, and they tested me. And then 3 years later, I had like my next test, and they tested me. And they showed me the result. They compared the results. And I was thinking, oh, it's probably not that bad. I think I've been taking care of them. And I lost a ton of sight in those 3 years.
And you see it like in a diagram or something like that? Yeah. The shrinking of it? Or?
And I just broke down. Fuck, man. I just broke down. I was like, oh, my God. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, when I was first diagnosed, I had already planned to move to L.A. from Long Island to act. I read Live from New York, the book. Did you read that?
Oh, yeah, it's great.
And everybody talked about improv and Groundlings and I.O. and Second City. And so I was thinking of going to Chicago or L.A. That was what I was thinking. And I thought, well, L.A. has Groundlings, and I love Will Ferrell. And I can audition for stuff. And then a few months later, I got diagnosed, and I was like, fuck, what do I do? How's this going to affect my life? And I still did it. I still packed my car and drove out. And then, you know, I just tried auditioning. I started improvising at all those places. And just was like, you know, sending headshots out and having very little luck. And
where did you live then?
Initially, the first place I lived was like 2 blocks from I.O. West on Wilcox,
in
right
Hollywood.
off of Hollywood. Yeah, right off of Hollywood.
Right in the
right in it. That's how I discovered I.O. Really.
Really.
And then I lived there for about 9 months. Then I moved to Glendale for about 9 months. Then I moved back to Hollywood in a bachelor apartment at like Hollywood and Highland area.
What's a bachelor? Like a studio, like a glorified studio?
It wishes it was a studio.
Oh, fuck.
A bachelor.
Sounds like a closet.
It's a big closet.
Wow.
It's got a hot plate.
Oh, dude.
And a teeny tiny sink that you could maybe fit one fist in. and half a fridge. Not even, like a third of a fridge.
You're living like a hobo.
Yeah.
A hot plate?
It had a very nice garden.
Oh, well, there you go.
Hence the rent. But I lived there for 3 years.
Wow.
I had sex in that place. Women had sex with me in that place. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what are you girls thinking? There's something wrong with me.
Well, watch the hot plate.
Watch that. You want some soup or something? Oh, yeah. Oh, I lived
So then
terribly.
when was Chicago?
Chicago is right after that.
And how many years were you in Chicago?
3, just about 3.
Okay, so.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. And I would have stayed, but I was doing long distance with Deborah.
Right.
And I met her right before I moved. And
out here?
Yeah, in L.A. And I was like, oh, after 3 years, we're still together.
Yeah.
So and you're working, and I'm not. I guess I'm moving. And that was pretty much it.
Wow.
That was pretty much it. And that was
So you were only in Chicago for 3 years. Okay.
Yeah, but one of the best memories I have of you is I went to Chicago for a visit, and I saw you at I.O. And you're like, "Hey, welcome home," and I was like, "Oh, that made me feel so good." When you said that, yeah. You're like, welcome home. Oh, I love this place. I love it.
Oh,
yeah, I love Chicago. I would live in Chicago.
Oh, it's such a great place. Yeah, I was just back, and it really hit me like, oh, this is such a great place.
It's great.
Yeah, but then the winter is fucking brutal.
I don't care.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, I
don't care. I didn't care that much.
So what is it about LA? I mean, like, LA. It's interesting because a lot of the cliche stuff is true.
Yeah.
The driving, and then you're by yourself, and the fucking traffic, and you're just sitting in your car, and it's lonely, and people flake out on plans, and you have to make plans if you want to see anybody.
Yeah.
You're not just gonna like just walk into a bar and there's all your friends like
no, like a Mullins or something.
Yeah.
No. Although I found similar at IO West because I just was there every night.
Yeah. Right.
And if I saw somebody on a Wednesday, I probably saw them the next Wednesday.
Yeah, that's
because they had a show or something.
Right.
I mean, all my just about all my friends are from there. And it's funny you mentioned Beck and Kyle from SNL. Deborah went to school with them.
Oh, did she?
And I met them.
Where? What school?
USC.
Okay.
So I know I don't know them well enough to get them on here, but I know them a little bit. I remember one of Deb's and I's first dates at her apartment was a group of her friends, and Beck was there, and I was sick. Oh, it was so gross. I had diarrhea in the bathroom. It was so gross. I was sweating. I was just sweating buckets. And I was like, oh God, this girl's gonna hate me. This girl's gonna hate me. And I saw the Good Neighbor sketch group that they were a part of.
Oh yeah.
I think in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
And they were fucking great.
Oh, those guys are funny as hell.
Did you? So you saw them before?
I mean, I saw their videos and stuff, and yeah.
But even the sketch show. So if somebody says to you, "Hey, come see my friend's sketch show," does that excite you?
Not at all.
No. So once I heard that, I'm like, "Oh fuck, I've seen a lot of comedy. I'm over it."
Yeah,
you know. Yeah. But oh man, blew me away.
Wow.
Blew me away. So good. So when they got it, I was like, "Yep, I get it.
They deserve it. Yeah.
I get it, but not more than you." Just for the record.
Nah,
carrot.
You know what? They deserve it.
They didn't have a carrot.
A carrot.
Carrot. So
let me ask you this.
Go.
So how long have you guys been together, you and your girlfriend?
We just celebrated 9 years.
Holy shit! Congratulations.
Thank you.
Are you guys gonna get married? You don't know.
What's the rush?
What is the rush? That's a great point. So let me ask you this. This is my question. She has a huge acting career. Correct?
I agree.
Correct.
I don't know.
Busy all the time.
Yes. Well, yes.
Busy.
More or less.
Yeah. So
busier than me.
so I'm asking this because it's the same with me right now with Katie.
Yeah.
She's on this show Teachers. That's this great smash hit.
Yeah.
And she along with her friends, the Katydids.
All those Katies
are the executive producers, writers, and stars.
Amazing.
But what that means is she's busy as shit.
Yeah.
All the time. And I'm not so much.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got stuff going on, but not nearly as much.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
How do I deal with that?
How do you deal with your partner is way busier than you all the time? I mean, right now.
Right
now
she's in New York. Well, I'm here doing my own thing.
Yeah.
So I have your own thing to do.
Yeah, right.
Even when she's around, just be like, I wish she wasn't around. Just do that. I'm too busy.
I'm too busy. Yeah.
I don't know.
Keeping yourself busy, I guess.
I could keep myself busy easily.
Yeah.
Even if I'm just watching TV.
Sure.
I could just watch TV. I love movies. I have so much organizing to do that I can always
keep yourself busy.
I'm never bored. Even if I tell somebody what I'm doing and they're like, that sounds boring. I'm like, nope, I love it. So I'm never bored. Even in the Chicago when I was losing all that weight, I had, like I said, no social life, but
You kept your... yeah.
I did my own thing.
Good for you.
I did my own thing. So
Interesting.
do you have hobbies?
You know, I go to the gym.
That's not a hobby.
That's not a hobby. Okay. So, no, I don't then. I really don't. I mean, I like music. I like finding new music.
Okay.
But I'm
do you
not...
play music?
No.
All right, not a hobby.
Yeah. So I guess I don't. Like, because what...
But you're writing, that's good.
Yeah.
That could be a hobby.
Yeah, but that's not, like, constant.
Okay.
What the fuck are hobbies? I guess an instrument, painting, woodworking.
Like if somebody goes, yeah, sports are my hobby. Oh, you play sports? No, I watch TV and I watch. I'm like, I don't think that counts.
Right.
Because like I could say my hobby is acting because I watch TV.
Right.
Like I watch actors acting.
Right. So I guess taking care of my dog. That's not a hobby, is it? So what? So. Do you have hobbies?
I do. What are my hobbies? Oh, I podcast. I'd say this is a hobby.
Oh,
I'd say your thing is a hobby.
Well, okay, but that's once a month.
Like but do you perform other times? You must perform other times.
Not a lot.
Oh, really? So I would say improv could be a hobby because it's productive.
Gets you out of the house.
Doing something. And
I do it here and there, but not like consistent.
You don't have a group? You have a team?
Well, we've got this Chicago group, but we don't have like a slot that we perform at. Yeah. Right. And I took the UCB classes when I moved out here.
Yeah.
And but then I auditioned for a Herald team, and I had this moment where I was like at the callback, and in the lobby were all these like young, like 23-year-olds, like playing Zip Zap Zop,
right,
and all excited about it.
First of all, I'm 41.
yes.
And I just finished 401 of UCB in New York with people that are 20 years old.
Yeah, so you know this feeling.
Yes.
Of these kids are doing Zip Zap Zop, and they're very excited, and I've kind of already done all this.
Yeah.
I have done all this already in Chicago.
A lot of it.
And I'm sitting there at this, it was this moment at this callback where I was like, I don't know if I want to really be doing this. Like, I'd rather be at home with my dog and my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Watching Netflix.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, same here. And although I've missed performing.
Me too.
And that's the balance. Like,
that's the balance. But
I'm not psyched about rehearsals.
Going to some guy's apartment and paying a coach.
I did that when a couple years ago. I got like a team at Iowa West. I'd auditioned for it, and we were practicing in some girl's studio apartment. Right. That's rough. It was really rough. They were nice people, but oh my god.
Of course they're nice people, but a lot of them are young and like into
Very young, because a lot of them was their first team.
Right. And I'm like driving there and looking for parking and then paying a guy $10. I'd rather be at home.
Let's do a show. We don't have to rehearse.
Yeah,
we'll do a show.
I would love it.
Well, I bet we could get stage time somewhere.
To get out of that fucking house.
Yeah. Well, I'll say more of my hobbies are the marathoning.
Yes, okay, so there you go.
But I might be retired. And then...
So drinking 2 protein shakes a day, is that a hobby?
That's a hobby. Grocery shopping, is that a hobby? Well, all my selling, look at all the shit I'm selling. That keeps me busy hours every day.
Yeah.
And that's definitely a hobby.
What about internet porn? Is that a hobby?
Oh, if it's not, it should be. The way I do it.
Fuck, man. Isn't it? I was talking to somebody recently. You used to have to go to a store and buy
in shame
and put the Playboy on the counter.
Yep.
And
you not make eye contact.
You add a candy bar just so you don't look like too much of a.
I need some sugar for this.
Now you literally push 3 buttons.
Yep.
And there is the entire library.
I have porn going on my computer right now. Yeah. This whole interview. This entire interview.
I don't blame you.
Oh my God. Yeah, super easy.
So podcasting, I guess this is a hobby.
I think so. It keeps me busy. Like, it's not just the time I spend with you, but it's putting it up. It's editing. It's researching. It's trying to get more guests. It's time consuming.
Yeah. So this might be a question for after the podcast, but I have all these interviews that I do recorded, but I don't know how to put them up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to hear them, so I'll tell you.
You can help me?
Oh, absolutely.
Because I'm sitting on all this great stuff, but I need to edit it.
Okay.
And
are you a little savvy computer-wise?
A little, but not very.
I'm not very either. So if
Okay.
I could do it, I feel like you
Really?
could.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
If I could run 15 marathons, you could do it.
Fuck. You know that when people think about you, they go, EJ.
I know.
He ran fucking 15 marathons on every continent.
And that's better than, oh yeah, EJ, he's at the bar every night drinking 8 beers a
You're
night.
damn right. He's drinking 8 beers on every continent.
He drinks Miller High Life on every continent. Yeah, that's
that
okay.
has to be, and that has to give you an enormous sense of pride, right?
Yeah, I like bragging about it, but not to be like
Sure.
me.
Sure,
but I'm
sure,
like,
sure.
I can't believe I did this
Jesus.
stuff because for 35 years, I was a fat, lazy, smoking, drinking, eating fuck.
Slob, yeah.
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 Well, I wouldn't say slob. That's going too far. But yeah, all
What
that
was
stuff.
it that first, like, I guess it's just doing the first marathon, right? That kind of like kicks your ass into gear.
That first one, I had planned only one. So I was like, I'll do the 2010 Chicago Marathon.
Okay.
But I was training on a treadmill by myself.
And
So
are you following some kind of a...
Yep. Hal Higdon had an online thing that I was following pretty to the letter.
Okay.
And but I didn't know what it was going to be like on road
Right.
with a guide, blindfolded, with thousands of people yelling at me, and all that stuff. I didn't know what it was going to be like. So I signed up for a half before the full,
Okay.
and my cousin did it with me, and that was really hard.
Oh, my
And-
God. So,
And then I did it. I signed up. I was like, that was hard. I got to do another one. So I had another. So a month later, I signed up for another half in Chicago.
okay.
And this guy I just met, who's a runner, did it with me, and it was a lot better. And then once the full came around, I felt more prepared to do the full.
I have a lot of questions. How often did you
This is a
train?
long podcast.
I hope
Do you
we
have
can
to? What time do you have to leave? by
edit
the way?
this? What time is it?
2:15.
She said the taping's at 3:30.
Okay. Where is it?
It's at Hollywood Center Studios on Santa Monica.
Oh, that's not far.
Not too
really.
far. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not too far. Okay, we got some time.
How many times did you practice with him running with you?
0.
0.
Yeah. 0. I
So-
don't practice with anybody. I'm on a treadmill. I practice
So
by myself.
the day of,
I'm,
do you are you on the treadmill blindfolded?
No, I'm watching
So-
TV. I'm watching pizza commercials.
So what the fuck, man? Because then you show up to the marathon
Yeah, and I don't know what I'm doing.
and you don't know what you're doing. You haven't trained to run blindfolded with a guy. How do you guys hook in?
So that took a while to figure out because the first marathon I thought, all right, well I'll hold on to him like I would hold on as a blind person to somebody. I'll hold on to their elbow.
Right.
If you're walking with somebody, you hold on to their
Right, but
elbow.
if you're
But if you're running, so I tried that. That lasted about 5 minutes, and because I kept slipping, it just wasn't working. So he was shorter. My cousin's shorter than me, so I said, I'll put my hand on your shoulder. That's what we did the whole time. That was bad because by the end of it, I'm just leaning on him.
Yeah.
And he's exhausted.
Yeah.
And I'm exhausted. My shoulders all screwed up. His shoulders screwed up. It was very painful.
And does this motherfucker get any credit? Does the
No,
cousin
fuck-
get
fuck
credit?
No, Ryan's great. Ryan's a runner. He's been running
Uh-huh.
a long time
Uh-huh.
since I don't know, middle school or high school or something. But he's about 30 now, and he's run with me a couple times since. And so the next marathon,
Did you ever fall? Trip?
I tripped a few times, never actually fell.
Wow.
Yeah.
A whole marathon blindfolded with it, just your fucking hand on a guy's shoulder.
Well, I did half that way.
The half, okay.
And then the next half I did with this guy, I was like, I'm going to hold on to your forearm. So we'll try that. So I did that, and that worked pretty good. And then the next full marathon, my first full, I held on to another cousin's forearm for the whole thing. And that worked pretty good. And it took another maybe 3 full marathons before I went to like a tether, like, sharing something to hold.
Oh, okay.
And that was in 2012.
What do you use for a blindfold?
in the beginning, I used my girlfriend. I needed something, so she had like the bottom of a curtain, like just like a strip, a long strip, and I would wrap my head like a mummy, because one wasn't enough because there's a white blindfold, so I had to layer it, and so it worked effectively, except as I'm running, it's getting filled with sweat.
Oh yeah.
And now it's getting heavy, and now it's slipping down my face. So I usually have to stop once just to retie it.
Wow.
And it's disgusting because it's just all my sweat, and I'm wringing it out, and it's disgusting. But now in these last few that I've done this year, I used an actual blindfold.
Oh,
like ones that they give you on a plane or something.
Oh, sure.
That actually, I should have done that from the beginning.
I love when a learning experience, the whole thing has been like, oh yeah, the elbow didn't work at all. Like,
nope.
So
trial and error.
So let me ask you two questions. One, how often are you talking to your running partner?
As often as necessary.
Okay.
And I leave it up to them, but I've learned through doing them, the less talking for me, the better, unless it's important.
I see.
Like if there's you're gonna get hurt if
We're
you
about
don't
to
do this.
Run into something.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I like zoning out. I didn't even start listening to music until the middle of 2012, after like I've done 7 marathons or something.
Wait, you've done
marathons.
These marathons with headphones in?
None until like my 8th one, and then I started using music because I ran one, and my thoughts were getting repetitive.
Yeah.
And I'm out there for a long time,
Yeah.
and you just think your crazy thoughts for a long time, and it was really difficult.
26.2.
26.2, and then the next one I was like, I need music. I'm gonna try it, and I put music in, and I was worried about music because I want to listen for instructions and stuff like that.
Right.
But I put music in one ear, and leave the other one open. And that changed everything.
Really?
Changed everything.
In a good way.
In a good way. It was so much more enjoyable.
What a fuck. What was it? An iPod Shuffle? Or like just a phone?
At the time, it was just like an iPod. It was an iPod.
Did you have it on your shoulder, strapped on your shoulder or something?
I had it in my pocket or something. Yeah. Something like that.
What a strange experience to run 26.2 miles blindfolded with just music playing in your head.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's so.
It's better than not playing in your head.
Yeah.
And then and also like for me, because I'm blindfolded, there's thousands of people, especially like Chicago, right? Thousands of people, all with noisemakers and stuff, and they're all screaming their heads off and in support.
And I gotta imagine when you turn the corner and they see a guy wearing a blindfold, they go nuts.
They sometimes, and it's I don't like it. I don't like the yelling.
Really,
it does a lot for my senses.
You don't find it motivating. You find it overwhelming.
It's a little depleting because I'm already tired. Maybe in the beginning it's not so bad, but when I'm tired and now I'm a little grumpy.
Yeah.
And I want food and I want to stop. And now people are going, ah! Like it sounds like a fraternity house or something, like something crazy. And they have these like if I right now had a noisemaker. And I blew it in your face. If I did it once, you'd say, "Boy, that's a really annoying noise." Now listen to it for 6 hours.
Oh, what's your time average? How long? 6 hours?
Mine's about 5.5. Wow. I've done less. I've done an under 5, 2 under 5, and I've done one. My second time running Chicago, I did 7 hours because I had some health issues.
During it?
During it. Yeah. It was rough. I had to walk almost the whole thing. About 5.5 hours.
Do you have anywhere on you like explaining the blindfold or no?
In 2012, I wore a sign on my back that I had a different sign each one that would count how many states I ran.
That's cool.
So it would be like the 2nd of 12, 3rd of 12, and I said blind runner with choroideremia, and I had a website.
Wow.
CureCHM.org.
I bet people went nuts when they saw you.
They were very encouraging. And I'll say this:
yeah.
People running by, blowing past me, would stop and say, "Hey, you're inspiring and you're great." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And
yeah, I know. Listen to my podcast.
In 3 years. But no, that was really nice actually.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get really choked up, and like after some of them towards the end, I was talking to my trainer today about it. At the end of some of these runs, I would just start crying because I was just so tired and depleted of just emotionally, and you know why I was running, and it's just hard and it's difficult, but
cathartic.
It's a little bit. It's cathartic. Wow. But
do you recommend running a marathon? I've never done it. You do?
If you can, if you're able to, and I feel like if I'm able to, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just train correctly.
Yeah.
I would even train more correctly than I have because now I have injuries and stuff. But I mean, the best part. Whenever people say, "What's the best part?" The best part is crossing that finish line.
Yeah.
I get such a high from it. I mean, talk about a high.
Yeah.
I did it.
Holy shit.
And it was hard, and I stuck with it, and I fucking finished, and now I get this cool medal, and I get put on Instagram.
It's all about Instagram at the end of the day.
It's all about Instagram.
A new thing to put on Instagram.
How many likes am I getting? But yeah, that's the best feeling.
Wow.
It's a really great feeling. And you feel like, and it's a really cool community.
Yeah, it seems like it.
There's like all these people, and I've been really lucky. I have had all these strangers running with me that meet me the day of, and they're my guides. Now they weren't gonna run 26 miles that day, but now they're gonna, you know.
Wow.
And
wait, so now you just get a guide day of?
Well, I plan it, right? I need a guide. Like this year I traveled all these different places, so I had to get local guides.
Like Craigslist or something?
Not exactly, but I would ask the marathon to help me find a guide.
Wow.
Or there's this thing called Achilles, and they're all over the world. And sometimes I would just on Twitter or Facebook just say, anybody know anybody in this country that's a runner and wants to run with me? And
that wouldn't mind me holding onto their forearm the whole time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Inspiring, man.
I don't know. You're inspiring, but hey, you're inspiring yourself because getting sober is tough.
Tough.
And really becoming self-aware.
Yeah.
Not many people are afraid to do that.
They are.
And you should be proud of yourself for getting that stuff under control the way you're doing it, and that's hard. So good for you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Now you're in a healthy relationship.
Yes.
You're blowing up. You're working with Brie Larson and Greta Gerwig. Pretty great. That's pretty great.
It's fun, man. It's it's a whole new out here. It's like the Wild West, and it's like you try to forge your own path, and cool shit happens along the way.
Hopefully.
What's next for you?
Oh,
what are your goals?
Oh.
What are EJ's
career
goals?
Oh, my career goals.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a lot of career goals.
Okay.
Because my lady, she's very career. So, like, my goals are, like, I'd like to bring some income into the house.
Me too.
That would be nice. I don't want to just put it on her the whole time.
Right.
So what do you do? I would like that. Huh?
You want to be an Uber driver?
That's this great idea for me to be an Uber driver. But I'd like to. I'd like to act. I'd like to get back in the improv now that I'm not running again.
Yeah.
And I even think about like, oh, maybe I'll make my own little movies or something.
Yeah.
I it's all just thinking right now. So
sure.
But I'm taking a comic book writing class in February.
You're going back full circle?
Kinda. Not drawing, but writing.
Oh, okay.
And but I love comics.
Yeah.
I've never stopped loving comics, and so we'll see.
That's great, man.
We'll see what happens.
That's great.
When we'll do our stage show, it'll be the magician and the blind guy. That's gonna blow up.
We gotta talk to Sharna, see if she'll give us a slot.
Oh, come on, Sharna. You could do it. Well, we should wrap this up. It's been 2.5 hours.
Holy shit.
Good talk.
Great talk, man. This was so great.
And I'm glad I met you in Chicago.
Me too.
And I'm glad you're out here in LA.
Me too. I'm glad you're out
I
here.
hope we do get to hang out.
I
I don't need drinks. I don't need drinks to hang out.
You can have drinks if you want. I'm just gonna have club soda, splash of cranberry with a lime.
I'll have my shake. You have your drink, and we'll cheers to each other. You know.
Well, I'll ask you after this. I want to learn about this protein powder.
All right, we'll learn about it.
Yeah.
You want to plug your Instagram, Twitter, website, any of that stuff?
Sure. What do I got? My Instagram is at Witow, which is WITOW.
Why'd you do that?
You know what? Listen, I signed up for Instagram well before everybody else. I didn't know what the fuck.
If they type in your name, will they pop up?
Yeah.
All right, type in these.
And then Twitter's just my name, at Chris Witaske.
And your website's chriswitaske.com.
.com, which I very rarely update, but it's there.
Perfect.
Yep.
And outdated. Maybe that's why I think Bob Odenkirk's your next guest.
Probably. My interview show. The fourth Monday of every month at the new UCB on Sunset. And it's called So You Do Comedy.
And I just bought a ticket today, so that means tickets are still available.
Yeah, I bet they are. And I haven't announced the guest yet, but I hope to soon.
They haven't confirmed. Is that why you haven't announced it?
Correct.
Yeah, because they could pull out at any time. It's gonna be your fiance.
Dealing with these famous people, I know it's gonna be. Let's hear it for Katie O'Brien.
Yeah, it's hard to get.
It's hard to get them to commit and then to actually.
Yeah, I have a story for you off the air too.
Okay.
All right, Chris, I love you.
Thanks, buddy. EJ, this was great.
It was great.
See you on iTunes.
And there you go, Chris Witaske. Thanks so much, Chris, for coming out and talking with me. That was great. Once again, I want to say go watch Love on Netflix. Go check out Running Blind on iTunes, Google Play, or Amazon. Check out my Twitter, EJ Scott, or EJ Podcast, or both, and my website, ejscott.com. I'm on the Instagram, sure, EJScott1106. And that'll do it for now. And we'll see you next time. Go listen to my other podcasts. I have a bunch of great ones coming up, so subscribe. Say some nice things in the comments, and I appreciate your time. Have a nice day.